from.
And a very good early morning to all of you out there who, despite the hour, have got up for this historic occasion in South African sport.
As South Africa and India mark 30 years of friendship, we look to the next 30 years with even greater anticipation.
We have millions watching this telecast right now.
50th Test match 100 for the great man.
If you don't have the belief that you can win the series here, there's no point coming here.
1-1.
That's him. The finger will go up.
And have a look at the celebrations.
Everyone, I'm sure, is pumped up about this clash.
Watch the Freedom Series from 26 December. To know where you are going, you have to know where you come from.
And a very good early morning to all of you out there who, despite the hour, have got up for this historic occasion in South African sport.
As South Africa and India mark 30 years of friendship, we look to the next 30 years with even greater anticipation.
We have millions watching this telecast right now.
50th Test match 100 for the great man.
If you don't have the belief that you can win the series here, there's no point coming here.
1-1.
That's him. The finger will go up.
And have a look at the celebrations.
Everyone, I'm sure, is pumped up about this clash.
Watch the Freedom Series from 26 December.
Hello, and welcome to the final day of this intriguing test series between South Africa and India. We've now come to this one. It all comes down to this: South Africa needing 111 to win this test series, India needing 8 wickets to win their first ever test series in South Africa. We ended yesterday with the last ball wicket of Dean Alga. And now Rassie van der Dussen will be joined at the crease will be joining Keegan Peterson at the crease, who's on 48. My name is Mpho Mokane, and you're listening to One World Sports Radio. You can listen to us at 1WSR.com if you just want an audio-only option, but we're also live on Facebook and Twitter at One World Sports Radio. If you type the words in, you'll be able to find us. Remember, you can tweet into us at One World SR on Twitter, and we'll read them out. Rassie van der Dussen averaging 32. I'm not flying solo this morning. I've got Tim Del Lace here. You've got the Full Quota podcast starting. India looks ready and raring to go. Tim, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. All ready for what should be an absorbing final day of this very interesting test match, which is evenly poised. Perhaps South Africa would be slightly happier.
They're ahead. And I think if you were Mark Boucher and you'd told him that on the final day of the test series, you'll need 111 to win with 8 wickets to go, I think he'd chew off your...
I think he would. He would take it.
Yeah.
But the situation could still go either way.
So we are resuming with the final 2 balls of Bumrah's over. Last night he got the wicket of Dean Alga with 2 balls to go in the 29th over, in the 30th over. So Bumrah is coming from the Wynberg end, 3 slips, gully, backward point, extra cover, mid-on, mid-wicket, and fine leg to Rassie van der Dussen. First ball of the day. We do not want the drama that happened in the first 2 days, but let's see. Bumrah into Rassie van der Dussen outside the all-stump. Rassie comes forward to a ball that's on a good length. He tried to play at that, but he moved his bat out at the right time. No run there. It's still, no run there. And it's going to be a heart-and-mouth moment for the South Africans, Tim.
Yeah, it certainly is. We're just having a look at that delivery again. And
It was way wide.
Rassie just taking his bat away at just the right time.
Yeah. Bumrah coming in to Mr. van der Dussen, Loot 1000. Bumrah with one that's straight on. It hits Rassie on the thigh pad. He was shaping to leave it, and it hit him right in front, but it was very high this time, bouncing on a good length.
There's one thing that's been consistent on this Newlands pitch is the bounce. A lot of controversy yesterday about it, but this one was definitely going well over the stumps. Hit Rossi in the midriff.
Yes, you can send through your comments on YouTube. Now we've got a bowling 12. Mohammed Shami is going to be starting the first full over of the day. He'll be facing up to Keegan Peterson with the score still on 101 for 2. He'll be bowling to Keegan Peterson. Keegan Peterson finished last night on 48, so he probably didn't have the best of sleeps. I would have rather him sleeping on 52 than 48, but we've got the game starting. Shami into Keegan Peterson, 2 slips, gully, and Keegan Peterson pulls out of that first ball. So it's going to be called dead by the umpires, as Shami did end up bowling the ball outside the off stump, if you are interested in that. We're going to have to redo that again. Let me give you the field set to Keegan Peterson. 2 slips, gully, backward point, extra cover. So that third slip that's gone to was for Rassi is now an extra cover. You got mid on, mid off. You've also got mid wicket on the square, as well as fine leg. Okay, first ball of the first full over of the day. Shami to Keegan Peterson from the Kelvin Grove end. This ball is on that fifth stump line. It's full. It draws Keegan Peterson forward, beats the bat, and goes to Rishabh Pant for no run.
Safe to say that Shami beat Keegan Peterson all ends up. Keegan Peterson coming forward, playing away from his body, pushing at the delivery. He won't be very happy with that shot.
Shami getting some swing early on in the morning from the Kelvin Grove end. So that's not something that the South African batters are going to have to sort out. Shami into Keegan Peterson. This one's a lot straighter. Keegan Peterson comes forward and misses that one as well. It was on that off stump line, being beaten by a little bit of seam off the pitch, but the ball's also swinging in, forcing Keegan Peterson to come in and play, and it's just holding its line a little bit there.
This one, Keegan Peterson had no option. He had to play it. He was pushing at it a little bit, but because it was zooming in at the stumps, he had no choice to play that delivery.
111 runs with 8 wickets looks very easy, but right now it looks like it's Mount Everest. Shami into Keegan Peterson. This one's a lot straighter, more on off stump, going on with the arm, not swinging away from the right-hander. Keegan Peterson playing that back to the bowler for no run. Still 101 for 2. 111 needed.
Nice piece of compactness from Keegan Peterson, keeping his bat against his pad and waiting for the delivery to come to him rather than pushing at it.
Yeah, small crowd in here at Newlands, mostly the sweet holders, which is really sad because I think the public would have loved to pack this place out to support the Proteas. Now 3 slips to Keegan Peterson. It's full on off stump. It gets a healthy edge that squirts between third slip and gully. It will be 2 runs. Keegan Peterson will reach his half century. He will get to 50. It's his 3rd half century in international cricket, and he's really done an incredible job. It's back to back, Tim. To back half centuries for Keegan Peterson.
Outstanding innings there from Keegan Peterson. It's 50 of 65 deliveries and 7 throws, scoring all round the wicket. It's been a really joy to watch Keegan Peterson in full throw.
103 for 2. Mohammed Shami coming into the man who's reached a half century in 3 of his last 4 innings. And Keegan Peterson defends this one on off stump, back to the bowler. No run.
As I was saying, it's been a really outstanding innings from Keegan Peterson. It's been an outstanding test match, in fact, for Keegan Peterson.
2.5 centuries.
2 half centuries, one after the other, against a very quality Indian bowling attack.
Yes. Backward points now on the point boundary. Next ball asked outside the off stump. It just Keegan Peterson shouldering arms and leaving that, and it went past that off stump on the 5th stump line. Whew, would have been very scary for KP right there, but good to see that he's ridden out that first over. 103 for 2, 51 for 50 for KP. Rassie still has to score. The target now is 109.
Coming down ever so slightly for the South Africans. They will want to do this total in small groups. First target we want to be is get under 100.
Groups of 10 is what I would suggest. Bumrah into Rassie van der Dussen, 3 slips, Gali backward point. It's a lot straighter. It's missed him on the pads. There is an appeal. It is going to be high. They hit him on that thigh pad, probably even going down, legged him. And there's not a lot of drama from the Indian camp. We've had a lot of drama yesterday with people talking into the stump mic, people saying that it's a nation against 11 players. A lot of talking from the Indian side and a lot of tears that might fall today. As Mark says, please describe Virat's tears in excruciating detail. We're going to do that, Tim, as Bumrah comes in to Rassie van der Dussen. 32nd ball in the 32nd over. This one is outside the off stump, short of a length. Rassie letting that go through to Rishabh Pant for no run. It's characteristic of this Indian side under Virat Kohli in terms of when they're not winning games, they start blaming everybody else. It's never their fault.
It's always them against the world.
And well, this time yesterday it was SuperSport against them, and then it ended up being, oh no, South Africa is against them. He made an insinuation that South Africa was shining the ball with some other unused substance, like in the Australia series. In one of his quotes to the stump mic, Bumrah into Rassie van der Dussen. This one's a lot straighter. Rassie has to play at that. It's an uncontrolled edge through the gap between third slip and Gali down to the boundary. They're going to come through for 3. Great running between Keegan Peterson and Rassie van der Dussen. Score's going to go up to 106. And now, Tim, we're at the halfway point of the chase. 106 on the board for 2, 106 needed. Rassie's now on 3. Leah says, morning everyone. Google ads are on the fritz again, displaying tourism ads for Saudi Arabia in Hungarian on the Cricket Info scorecard. To me, a trans woman.
Both the edges that both batsmen have got have been very thick, but luckily not to any fielder so far.
Bumrah into Keegan Peterson. He plays that one outside the off stump, coming forward to that, and nearly an edge as well. That was a play and a miss.
This expansive play by Keegan Peterson will be music to the ears of Virat Kohli.
It's uncharacteristic to the Keegan we've seen all series.
Yes, he will be very glad that he's chasing what are very wide deliveries. That's at least the third time that it's happened this morning. So I want to work on that.
Yes, milestone number 1 for the South Africans was to get to halfway. They've done that. Now get this target under 100. Bumrah into Keegan Peterson. That's a lot straighter. Good length. Keegan Peterson playing that off his toes out to point for a single. He goes up to 52. Scores 107. The target goes down to 105.
Tense moments out there. Feel the tension.
India need a very good start, Tim. You could say that their lines and lengths, it is a good start. Just not a lot. Just getting just those edges that aren't carrying, they're going through. So something to encourage them this morning.
Yeah, plenty of encouragement. There's been a few players that misses as well.
Yeah, they need Bumrah to come up with a massive spell here. That ball was swinging in, and it was a block hole ball as Rassie van der Dussen defends that after the last ball of that 32nd over for no run. Bumrah pulling out 1 from deep in the bag.
I don't think Rassie was expecting the in-swinging Yorker, but that's exactly what he got. And just got his bat down just in time. If he hadn't, it was curtains for Rassie.
One of the first Yorker balls we've seen for Bumrah all series. We haven't seen that. So he's really brought his bag of tricks today. Now he's digging in deep. And that ball has always been a ball that I've loved of Bumrah. It's been the dangerous one, I think, when he started international cricket. Shami from the Calvin Grove end, 2 slips, a gully. You've got a man at deep at the backward point boundary, more third man, as the first ball is just outside the off stump, 6 stump line, fuller length. Keegan Peterson letting that go through to the keeper. You've also got extra cover, mid on, mid off, mid wicket, and fine leg. 105 needed to win. South Africa on the edge of something great. India not wanting to let this golden opportunity go to waste. They felt like they let it go to waste in 2018. They have to try and rectify it in 2022. This ball is a lot straighter. It is a bit of a half volley that Keegan Peterson plays out to the fielder at mid wicket. If it was slightly about a meter left of that fielder, would have gone for 4, but they run through for a single. It's good rotation of the strike. Target is 104.
If you give it to Keegan Peterson on the legs, he is more than happy to oblige and rotate the strike.
But that's essentially test match batting. Leave outside the off stump, force the bowlers to bowl within your pads, and you should be able to handle everything inside that off stump line going down. And Keegan Peterson has found that rhythm and has learned really quickly in his very young international career. We see Elu Mazai on YouTube and G. Shami in with 3 slips to Rassie van der Dussen. This one is a half volley on middle stump. Rassie plays that out to the mid-wicket boundary. It will be hauled in by Shardul Thakur, but the South Africans running 3 again today as the second set of 3s. The total now goes to 111 for 2. The target is at 101. So we're on Nelson. Nelson took a wicket last night. I think all the South Africans need to have their feet up. I have mine here. Elu Mazai says KP has to be patient. Why chasing wide balls? They need a blunt Bumrah and Shami. That's all. G says, good morning. India need early wickets. And Virat has gone to his strike bowlers. Shami into Keegan Peterson with 2 slips. It's gone down leg side. It hit Keegan on the pad. It will be leg byes, but the South Africans will run through for a single. Oh, yes, for a leg bye, a single. That will take the score to 112. And the target is now at 100. 8th extra of the innings.
Not a good over this from Shami. Too much down the leg side. And those deliveries as well are also too full. Not troubling either batter with those deliveries.
Sachin on Twitter says, I'm too scared to tweet. Hashtag Proteify. Sachin, tweet us. Let us go through this. Shami to Rassie van der Dussen, 3 slips, gully and a backward point. It's a lot straighter on off stump and Fuller. Rassie coming forward and defending that out to the man at mid off for no run.
As we see Ashwin rubbing the ball, you feel that as much as these two are the strike bowlers, it's only a matter of time before they throw the ball to Ashwin to see if he can get some turn on this pitch.
Yes, India will be wanting to bowl a lot of balls to Rassie van der Dussen, not let him get off to strike too cheaply. Shami into Rassie. You don't want those balls down leg side. It was a back of a length ball, and Rassie got that, tried to play that down the leg side. He missed it. It will be leg byes as it's come off the thigh pad. Risha punted well to kind of parry the ball away and prevent the boundary. So the score goes up to 113 for 2. Tim, we're under 100 now in terms of the target.
Milestone number 1 done and dusted. As you say, I think blocks of 10 is a good target to do, a good thing for the South African batters to think about.
There's going to be a point where India give up, throw in the towel. What's that number in terms of runs to win? Runs needed.
You're probably thinking once it gets to 50, but another 50 runs, then it's
like 5 wickets in hand.
Yeah.
Bumrah into Rassie van der Dussen. This ball pitching on off stump and jagging away past Rassie down the leg side. It was a shortish ball. Great take from Rishabh Pant on the leg side. No run there. First ball of the 34th over from the Weinberg end. Van der Dussen's on 6. Peterson's on 52. South Africa 113 for 2.
Whatever the total is, South Africa will be determined that at least at one end is a set batsman in. Would not want to have both tail enders batting.
Or new batters in. Ball outside the off stump, back of a length on that 5th stump line. Rassie is just hanging his bat out there and pulling it out at just at just the right time. I'm not a fan of that, Tim, but it's effective so far. No run.
He looked very scratchy in the first innings. His first innings of 21. Felt it was only a matter of time before he got out. Doesn't look very good this morning, but important for South Africa that he is still there. If he could just bat for a lot longer, you never know, might find some form.
There are some cracks that Burma will be aiming for. He bowls a full one straight on off stump. Rassie comes forward to defend that. Back to the bowler, no run, 113 for 2. And, you know, a lot of South African fans, or a lot of cricket fans will say they've got so much time. They can bat out 2 days to get 100, to get the 99 runs. But obviously the pitch deteriorates. The batting in South Africa has been hard this series. Not a lot of teams. I think we've only had one score of 300 this series. So the bowlers have always had the upper hand, and the bowlers are always in the game. So it's very hard. And you don't want to give them an opening as Bumrah bowls a beautiful ball just on that fifth stump line. It was on a good length outside that off stump. Rassie playing inside of that, playing a lot straighter down that off stump line. The ball moving away as it got past the bat, and a play and a miss, but a very, very scary ball for South Africa.
Rassie is determined to cover his off stump, but he's coming too far across, and that means he's playing away from his body. That's a risk for him at the moment.
Bumrah into Rassie van der Dussen, short ball on the leg side. Rassie plays it off his hips. And the South Africans are going to come through for a single. Rassie will move to 7. The score 114, and the runs to win 98.
Yes, I'm saying Rassie knows that that ball that comes back in from Bumrah is lethal, and he's had trouble throughout the series to that delivery. The moment Bumrah knows that, he's bowling it wide of the off stump, and Rassie is still finding it very difficult.
Bumrah into Keegan Peterson. They've gone for 3 slips, and he bowls a short ball to Keegan Peterson to end that over. Keegan ducks underneath it. Great take from Rishabh Pant. End of the over, 114 for 2. The target is 98. Peterson on 52. Van der Dussen on 7.
India will be happy with the way that the open bowlers have bowled. They will feel a little bit unlucky though, as we've seen it. An awful lot of players and misses, both batters. They probably feel they need a bit of luck to go their way.
It's been quite interesting in this test series, as it felt like batting's become easier as the days have gone on, whereas it's contrast to elsewhere in the world where it's become a lot harder. As Shami comes in to Rassie van der Dussen, he bowls the ball full and wide, and Rassie throws his hands at that. The ball and hits it through extra cover. 4 runs, a freebie for Rassie as he goes to 11. South Africa on 118 for 2. The target is now at 94.
That is spot on. That indeed was a freebie. No problems there for Rassie. 2 full, half volley length. Very, very wide. No real danger there for Rassie. He spoke it to the boundary.
Yeah. Tim, as I was saying, it's gotten a little bit easier to bat in South African cricket as the days go on, which is contrary to other wickets around the world. Next ball from Mohammad Shami outside the off stump. Rassie leaves that without playing a shot. It was on the 6 stump line, banking on the swing away from the right-hander, and goes to Rishabh Pant for no run.
Yes, you're right. It has back in the trend a little bit, I suppose. Particularly the last test and this test is playing better as the test match has gone on. That has certainly been the case in the series.
And this is similar to the Wanderers. Shami into Rassie van der Dussen. This one's a back of the length up, and Rassie shouldering arms outside the off stump to Rishabh Pant. No run. At the Wanderers, India I thought bowled better than South Africa. It just felt as though the conditions became a lot easier for the South Africans to bat. South Africans had a lot more false strokes in that last innings, but they weren't getting edges, and a lot of plays and misses that weren't getting edges, and the edges were dropping. So similar to what's happening this morning. Down the leg side, Rassie looking to play that one, a good length ball from Shami. Great take from Rishabh Pant to prevent further buys. No run there, still 118 for 2, 94 to win.
Yeah, wayward bowling from Shami. It's been a little bit too straight at the moment. It's a bit of a surprise when he has got 3 slips in the gully
And a
waiting
6-3
for the
field.
edge.
He's got a fielder at square leg on the boundary and a fine leg. This one's on that 6-stump line. Rassie just pushing that as it was over pitched, and they come through for a single. 119 for 2, 93 needed to win. Rassie's now on 12.
Nearly had the first half hour been played, 22 minutes. And although there's been a few heart-of-mouth moments with the plays and misses, South Africa are unscathed.
Yes, South Africa are unscathed, having scored 18 runs in this day. And they score the 19th one as Bumrah bowls one straighter on a good length. Keegan Peterson playing that out to the leg side for a single. The score now goes up to 120 for 2. The target is now 92. Peterson on 53. Van der Dussen on 12. This partnership, which started with the first ball of the day, is now 19.
It will be interesting to see how they use Ashwin. I thought, talking about the last test match, I thought they used him incorrectly in that last day. He opened the bowling, which I didn't quite understand, and then he bowled when it was pretty much all over for India. So they would need to find a time where Ashwin's got enough runs to play with. It's slowly but surely creeping towards that period now. Don't want to be bowling him too late.
Yes. And then I think Ashwin to these two is a really great ploy, because I think Keegan Peterson has felt rushed against Ashwin. Bumrah coming in from the Weinberg N3 slips gully as he edges one on off stump, a full ball out down on the bounce to the fielder at a deeper gully than usual. He's closer to the boundary than he is closer to the slips or to the batter, and Ajinkya Rahane picking that up for no run.
Certainly was an expensive drive. He's not been afraid to play them this morning, and certainly does give India a chance.
3 slips, that gully that's slightly deep, and now fields is being changed by Virat Kohli. Gully's coming more conventional. We've got a backward point. Mid-wicket is staying where he is. You've got fine leg. You've got mid-on, extra cover now, and the conventional point, not a backward point, I beg your pardon. Bumrah into Keegan Peterson, a lot straighter this time with the ball that's tailing into him. He plays that back to the bowler for no run.
Much more solidly in behind that delivery of Peterson. The South African dressing room would prefer that particular shot than the previous one.
Yes, they would. And I think everyone in South Africa is probably on the edge of their seats right now, living and dying on every ball of this test match. Bumrah into Keegan Peterson. It's a short ball going down leg stump. Keegan ducks underneath it. 120 for 2, with the target still on 92.
It wasn't quite a helicopter, but he did have his bat above his head a little bit there when he came down to duck underneath the delivery.
Bit of a periscope.
A little bit of a periscope.
We saw Rishabh Pant go to 99, ducking a short ball and then coming off and going out to point. That time South Africa had a spread field, so it was really easy for him to get a single. Bumrah into Keegan Peterson. He's a lot straighter on that leg stump, driven out To mid-wicket. Priyank Panchal is the mid-wicket fielder. No run. But this is what India want. You want to keep the runs flowing. You want to stop the game. You want to stop the runs from flowing. Add pressure to both of the batters in the middle to try and move it through, because South Africa want to get this as quickly as possible, rotate the strike as much as possible, playing riskless cricket, but you also don't want to be stuck on one end, wondering where you can score your next run. Bumrah into Keegan Peterson. This one's outside the off-stump on a good length. He lets that go through to Rishabh Pant for no run.
Bumrah is certainly doing that. Shami was doing it initially, but he seems to have lost his lines and legs a little bit. But Bumrah certainly making things very difficult for the South African batters, bowling very well this morning.
Yeah, he's even last night I thought Bumrah bowled really well. That last spell where it felt like it was the final throw of the dice from Virat Kohli for the day got them dividends with the wicket of Dean Alga, and Bumrah was on point. Bumrah finding rhythm in the last day of this test match. Bowls one slightly shorter outside the off stump. Keegan Peterson letting that go through to the keeper. End of the over, 120 for 2 after 36. Peterson on 53. Van der Dussen on 12. Runs to win on 92. I was thinking about Keegan Peterson today, Tim, and thinking about his start to international cricket with the West Indies, not getting those runs there, coming in very early. Then obviously having the break, not playing well domestically as well, but still averaging 50. He didn't have a lot of big scores. A lot of people were questioning whether he should be in the side. But the selectors stuck with him, they persisted with him, and in this series, he's proven to be the game changer. He is one of the candidates for me for man of the series, win or lose. And he's going to end up, should Timber not have a say in this, as the top run scorer. As Shami resumes from the Calvin Grove end, 3 slips, gully, extra cover, catching as he goes one outside the off stump. Rassi did play at that one. The Indians at the slip cordon with Rishabh Pant thinking there's an edge. They are consulting.
How many lives is Rassi Peterson going to get in this innings? It's not a job catch, but he has played an awful lot of deliveries and missed them by just a whisker.
And so India are reviewing the decision more out of desperation.
That's certainly what the feeling is. We sitting here in our commentary box, we didn't hear anything. Rassi Peterson does play away from his body.
So there was a noise, and it looks like the noise was Rassi's bat hitting the ground. It was a ball on way out, probably 6-stump line. It is 6-stump line, not probably. And Rassi played at that, and there was a noise hitting the ground of the bat as the ball passed the bat. So we'll see. And there is a spike, but the question for the umpire to determine is to whether the spike was of the bat hitting the ground or of the ball hitting the bat.
This is an impossible decision. Both things happen simultaneously at the same time. It is
because we're looking at the split screen with Ultra Edge. Looks like there's not a lot of gap between bat and ball, but you can see the bat hitting the ground. And at that same time, the ball passes the bat. It's a great timing from Rassi, by the way, to do that. But now you've given Aludin Palaka a very, very tough call. The soft signal is no, but so is not out. So you have to be conclusive that it has hit the bat. We're just going to wait and see. Maria Rasmus says it is not out. And we're going to have a discussion now because, like yesterday, India's going to feel like Super Sport, and Super Sport is out to get them, or the umpires are out to get them, whoever else they want to blame. Virat Kohli had a discussion with Maria Erasmus. I'm sure Maria told him that the sound, it was the ball hitting the bat and it wasn't conclusive enough to change it, even though there was a spike.
Yeah, I think that is spot on. But because of what happened yesterday, it just adds to the tension. It adds to the frustration for the Indian team. It adds to what they said about playing against more than 11 people.
Next ball outside the off stump. Rassie plays at that one again. He's just playing anything outside the off stump these days. Out to the fielder, backward point for no run. Still 120 for 2. South Africa's target is 92. If you're joining us, South Africa started on 101 for 2. Rassie, Van der Dussen, and Keegan Peterson put up 19. India found a lot of edges this morning, bowled really well, but the South Africans are eking out the runs, bringing the target down to 92.
Yeah, Rassie, best thing Rassie's doing is he's still there. He's still there. He's churning up deliveries.
Shami into Rassie. This one's wide, back of a length this time. Rassie deciding not to play at that one, letting that go through to Rishabh Pant.
He's making sure that should anyone else come in to bat today for South Africa, that they come in when the ball is softer, older, and less conducive to swing, and at least on the surface, easier to bat against.
Shami to Van der Dussen, 2 slips, gully, backward point, extra cover. Next ball pitches on the fifth stump line and jags away from Rassie Van der Dussen, seems away from him, and goes to Rishabh Pant for no run. Rishabh Pant caught it in front, in the middle of first and second slip to kind of show you the movement of the ball. G on YouTube says, "Oh, India are going to review? I thought they had an issue with DRS." Wink face. Was a winky face, yes. Or winking. Let's say that, not wink face. 2 slips, gully, extra cover, Shami into Rassie Van der Dussen. A lot fuller and a lot straighter on that off-stump line. Rassie defending that with a forward defensive no run. There's still that trap there, Tim, of that fielder at backward, at square leg on the boundary and the fine leg for any short balls that they might bowl at Rassie and he might want to hook.
I don't see that being the case with Shami. Shami has a very clear plan. It might be a surprise delivery. We did see that in the first innings. He has that ability. But
just throw in one. Bend his back a little bit. Shami coming in past the umpire to Rassie Van der Dussen. This one's good length outside the off-stump. Rassie getting in line, getting his front foot in line with the ball, letting it go through to the keeper for no run. 120 for 2. 2 maidens so far bowled to the South Africans. India slowing the game up a little bit, adding a little bit of pressure to these two in the middle. Keegan is new to international cricket, so too is Rassie, even though Keegan is on 53 and having a stormer of a series. He still has a massive responsibility to try and get South Africa to 92, and a couple of wickets. India are still in this game.
Tinalka said at the presser after the last test match that Rassie doesn't realize how important his 40 was in that second innings. He's trying to do something similar in this innings. It might not look great, he might look scratchy, might not be in form, but in the context of the match, the fact that he's still in is very important for South Africa.
So we're going to have a commentary change in the next 5 minutes. We're going to probably see through 2 overs. We've got Tabo Tyler joining Ken Borland as Bumrah into Keegan Peterson, 3 slips and a gully from the Weinberg end. Good ball outside the off stump. Keegan Peterson putting his bat out there, fishing for it, and the ball beating the bat once again. Hasn't looked controlled by the South Africans, but they're somehow getting there.
Playing away from his body once again. Playing away from his body a lot this morning, Keegan Peterson. And Bumrah will be thinking, what do I have to do to get a wicket?
Bumrah into Keegan Peterson, 3 slips, gully back to point. It's a lot straighter, but this one just going over past that 5th stump line with the back of the length ball and Keegan Peterson letting that go through to the keeper. Bumrah's getting it to shape into the right hand. He just needs one of those balls to just hold its line. Bowl it on the seam or maybe even a wobble seam and see if the ball's going to go away.
Yeah,
To
you're
try
right.
and bother the batters a little bit more.
Yeah, it's moving too much, which is a strange thing to say, but it is. It's moving too much for him.
Bumrah coming in to Keegan Peterson. This one's back of a length. Keegan playing that on his toes on the back foot out to the offside. No run. No run so far. In 15 balls. Stephen Burnett says Kohli is a spoiled brat, throwing his toys after his non-decision in his first innings. He himself got away with a tight one. So I'll read it again. Kohli is a spoiled brat, throwing his toys after this non-decision. In his first innings, he himself got away with a tight one that was probably had more evidence to overturn. Hotspot is really missed here in the series. Bumrah into KP. This one squares KP up as it pitches on that off-stump line and straightens KP, playing very compact on that inside that line. Another play and a miss, but a very good ball from Bumrah.
Outstanding bowling from Premier fast bowler from India, squaring Keegan Peterson up a little bit. This one had to play it, and Alex didn't have a choice. And luckily for him, he didn't get an edge.
Bumrah into Keegan Peterson. It's a lot straighter on the middle stump. Keegan Peterson waiting and playing that out to the bowler. No run. Still 120 for two. South Africans haven't scored a run in 17 balls. India managing to stop the game. One way you can get some control as a bowling side. Mr. Bolwell, bowl a lot of dot balls. Bumrah into Keegan Peterson down the leg side, and the pressure valve has been released with Keegan Peterson glancing that to find leg for a single. Score goes up to 121 for two. The target is 91. Peterson on 54. Thunderson on 12.
Be interesting to see if Shami is still going to bowl from the Coventgrove end. I suspect it might be time for a change for India.
There are a lot of people on Twitter on the SAVIND hashtag who are asking for where Hotspot is. It's an interesting decision. I think it's a decision by the broadcasters to decide whether to use Hotspot or not, because the technology that is required from IC is Ultra Edge, not necessarily Hotspot, to get these decisions done.
That's it. And there is a bowling change for India. It's Umesh Yadav. He's bowling from the Coventgrove end. I think that they needed to make a replacement. Shami was not all that effective in the last 2 or 3 overs of his spell.
Yes, Umesh Yadav coming in to Keegan Peterson from the Coventgrove end. 2 slips and a gully. Starts off on the money on that fifth stump line. Good length. Keegan Peterson letting the ball go through to Rishabh Pant. Getting a little bit of ball tailing away from the right-hander.
Yeah, he's an underrated bowler is Umesh Yadav. It's genuine pace. It's the new ball to move away. I think he's a lot quicker than a lot of batters give him credit for.
Yadav into Keegan Peterson. Short outside the off stump and punched through the covers. It will be chased down and the ball will win the race as Priyank Panchal can't get there. 4 runs for South Africa. First 4 runs of the day. Happening in the 40th minute of the day. Keegan Peterson now goes up to 58, 125 for 2 with a target now at 87.
And somewhat released from the stranglehold that India had managed to put on South Africa. They put 3 overs there, bowled really tightly. That was too wide.
Top shot from Keegan Peterson. Yadav in again. Another short ball wide. That one is slapped to the fielder who's at deep backward point boundary for a single. Boundary saving position.
Bad saving position indeed. Certainly not a catching position.
Score goes up to 126 for 2. Peterson on 59. Runs to win 86.
Too much width in this over from Yadav. Not straight enough. Not challenging Keegan Peterson or Russell Peterson. Bowling too wide at the moment.
Yadav into Rassie van der Dussen, 2 slips and the gully. That backward point is now back regulation as this first ball goes outside the off stump. That Rassie lets it go through to Rishabh Pant for no run.
And you can see that Rassie is perspiring quite a lot as he squeezes out the sweat from his helmet.
It's a hot day to very, very hot, but a good day to bat, so he's going to have to deal with that sweat. Started today, 25 runs have been scored since the start of today. No wickets have fallen. Yadav into Rassie van der Dussen, another ball, good length outside the off stump. Rassie coming forward and shouldering arms to that one, letting that go through to the keeper. No run. Shahanaz Parveen says Jansen and Peterson have been really impressive this series. They have. We're going to have a commentary change, and we're going to say goodbye to Tim and myself, but we're going to say goodbye to Tim first and bring in Ken Borland as Yadav prepares for that final ball of his over to Rassie van der Dussen. A lot straighter this time, closer to that off stump. Rassie letting it go through on length to Rishabh Pant. End of the 39th over. It's 126 for 2. Peterson on 59. Van der Dussen on 12. The target is 86. As Ken gets himself sorted out. Really good start from South Africa. On Twitter, on Check Cricket Podcast says, oh, another close one. This time it's against Rassie 72. But India need to get on with it. Decision won't be reversed. Those on-field decisions, discussions between Kohli and Erasmus not looking good. Better if taken up behind the scenes with this match with the right referee. And that's going to be the last thing I'm going to say as I say hello to Ken Borland. And the next voice you'll hear on the ball by ball seat will be of Tipper.
Thanks, Paul. Sure. What a first 40 minutes. Rather nerve-wracking, Tipper Taylor. I almost don't want to talk about the cricket. It's too stressful. Can we talk about something else maybe?
No, Ken.
Do you have pets?
There's no chance I'm not talking about the cricket. I'm on the edge of my seat. The adrenaline is pumping. I'm glad I'm not in the middle. Glad I get to watch Jasprit Bumrah coming in from the Wynberg end. A good length delivery in line with leg stump, blocked out by Keegan Peterson. The score still 126 for 2, with the deficit now to win only 86. What a match of cricket we have here.
I must say I am surprised and relieved that India have taken Mohammad Shami off after just 4 overs from the Kelvin Grove end. He was swinging it around corners. No one looked particularly comfortable against him.
Definitely got a lot of outswing, especially to Keegan Peterson, who kept driving. Jasprit Bumrah coming in. Second ball, Yorker length delivery in line with off stump, kept out by Keegan Peterson. He's sitting still on 59. Score still 126 for 2.
It was a torrid start for the South African batsmen, Keegan Peterson and Rassie van der Dussen. Many plays and misses, a couple of reviews, but things just seem to have settled down, become a little bit easier the last few overs.
They did very well to negotiate that first period here in Newlands. Very important not to lose wickets. Jasprit Bumrah in again. A fuller length delivery outside off stump, shoulders, arms from Keegan Peterson, still 126 for 2, 86 to win. And I believe I was talking to you, Ken, and you mentioned that wickets often fall in the first session of the first day of the Newlands test. We saw literally yesterday 2 wickets falling, or a wicket falling off the second ball, and then another one. It was Jansen and Rabada. And even before that, the day before, South Africa losing 2 wickets in the early session. Bumrah in again over the wickets. Oh, gets an outside edge from a good length delivery, and the man at first slip puts down a sitter. Looks like it's a Pujara, Chicheswa Pujara. It went straight into the bread basket and then straight out.
It just seemed to hurry him a bit. As slip catches go, they don't come much easier than that. Peterson just pushing forward defensively.
Oh, my word.
The Pujara kind of snatched at it, and down it went. Well, it's just added to the woes he's had in this series. Oh, my word, that could be very, very costly for India.
Keegan Peterson on 59, dropped at first slip. That is not what you want here in this session. Jasprit Bumrah in again. This one a little bit too straight on the pads and is punished through the leg side by Keegan Peterson with a beautiful glance. The man at mid-wickets does the fielding, does the chasing, but 3 runs conceded there, and the Indian team will be kicking themselves after dropping Keegan Peterson, a vital wicket there. 3 runs added to the total, and Keegan Peterson score 129 for 2. Keegan Peterson on 62, and most importantly, 83 to win now for South Africa.
India unraveled a bit in the final session of the second test at the Wanderers. They weren't happy with the wet ball because of all the rain they'd had in the day building up to that session. And are they unraveling a bit here? Unhappy with DRS decisions undoubtedly going against them.
Jasprit Bumrah in again, outside off stump, shoulders, arms from Rassie van der Dussen to end the over, 129 for 2. Rassie van der Dussen on 12. Keegan Peterson will be on strike in the next over on 62, and 83 to win. And Ken, I couldn't agree with you more. You could see that the concentration of the Indian team isn't on themselves anymore. It's not on playing good cricket. It's about complaining about things. We saw Virat Kohli after a review talking to Marais Erasmus. And that's not the type of attitude you want to see on the last day. India are still in this game. They just need to stay focused.
I think Virat Kohli had every right to talk to Marais Erasmus, trying to get some clarification.
That's fair.
Look, it was a desperately tough decision because Ultra Edge showed a sound as the ball passed the bat, but you could also see the bat clearly hit the ground.
So not enough conclusive evidence to overturn the decision. Umesh Yadav coming in from the Calvin Grove end, full straight outside off stump. And Keegan Peterson drives this. He's aiming for the covers, but gets an inside edge. And the man at mid-wicket does the fielding. The score now 131. Keegan Peterson on 64 after that 2. And 81 to win at the moment.
At least this time Virat Kohli did not shout into the stump microphones. So he was better behaved on this occasion.
That's good to see. He does need to calm down. And I remember Umpo talking about cooler heads need to prevail in these situations. It's about concentration. That's the key. I can see the frustration. Umesh Yadav in again, full straight. It looks like it was going to go into leg stump. A big appeal here from the Indian team. That looks good enough to send up for me.
It looked a little leg side-ish, to be honest, and it does not look like India are going to review. It's funny, some people actually find that they concentrate better, are more focused when they are fired up. So there have been a fair number of cricketers down through the ages whose best performances have come when they've managed to get into like a one-on-one battle with an opponent, when they've got fired up, when there's been a war of words, when there's been some sort of flashpoint, and Kohli does seem to be one of those.
Umesh Yadav in again, back of a length delivery on top of off stump. Keegan Peterson rides it and drives it to the man at cover for no run. Umesh Yadav has himself 2 slips. It doesn't look like a first slip. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Ken. It looks a little bit further away from Rishabh Pant than a conventional first slip. A third slip there. A man at gully, a man at deep backward point. Looks like he's moving to a third man, in fact. Cover, mid-off, mid-on, a man at deep square leg, and a man at fine leg for Keegan Peterson.
I think I'd call it a first slip. It's just that the spacing is a bit wider between him and the keeper than we've had for much of the series.
Full length delivery in line with the stumps, kept out by Keegan Peterson with a solid forward defensive shot. The score 131 for 2. We're just looking at the DRS for the LBW appeal. It looks like Impact was in line. It was pitching in line with the stumps, but it just bounced over the stumps. And we've been seeing a little bit of extra bounce here at Newlands. We saw in the South African bowling innings when India were batting some balls that just got big on Ajinkya Rahane and Pujara especially. Umesh Yadav in again. This one full straight, a little bit too close to the pads. Glanced to the leg side, and the man Ashwin at mid-on will do the fielding. Goes all the way to the boundary to the fielding. Quick between the wickets for a 3 to take the score to 134 for 2. Keegan Peterson now on 67. Rassie van der Dussen on 12 and 78 to win. Just chipping away at that score.
That was very good running between the wickets to get 3 runs out of that very nicely played clip off his pads by Keegan Peterson wide of mid-on. We know Peterson is very quick between the wickets, and Rassie van der Dussen doing a good job as well with those long legs of his.
Just going back to what you mentioned about Virat Kohli and about players that get fired up and riled up and that gets them better. How do you think that impacts on the team positively in these types of situations? Do you think that maybe you could, I know I'm a quite enthusiastic person myself, and I sort of have to rein myself in sometimes for the sake of the people around me. Umesh Yadav coming in over the wickets. It's full, it's straight, it's on the pads. And Rassie van der Dussen just clips it to the leg side to get a boundary. A little bit expensive in this over, Umesh Yadav. The score 138 for 2. Rassie van der Dussen on 16. And it's only 74 to win now.
Yeah, the end of the second Umesh Yadav over. And there's definitely been a releasing of pressure from this end since he's come on. So I'm very surprised with that bowling change. Yeah, just on your previous question about Kohli reining things in a bit, you know, he's so greatly respected in India and so greatly respected by his team, most of whom have grown up playing alongside him, that I imagine they're used to it. I imagine that's why they appreciate him as captain. I love the passion, to be honest. I think it's great to see someone who is ultra competitive. And, you know, Test cricket owes a lot to Virat Kohli because it's his love of Test cricket that has ensured that India is still taken very, very seriously. And they are, of course, the number 1 side in the world and desperate to win their first series in South Africa.
Jasprit Bumrah will be continuing from the Wynberg end. 3 slips, a Gullion man at point. Oh, great length delivery, squaring up Keegan Peterson. Oh, back of a length. Good line on top of middle stump, and Keegan Peterson just put his bat up there. Fantastic ball here from Jasprit Bumrah, just going away from the right-hander. Wow,
Bumrah, if you don't count the 2 balls he bowled at the start of the day to finish that over, is into his 6th over now of the morning. So it'll be interesting to see how many more he has in the tank. Hopefully, Shami comes on at the Wynberg end after him.
Coming in again, a little bit fuller, same line in line with that middle stump, but kept out by Keegan Peterson. Gets bat to ball this time, and we have a few YouTube comments, a few greetings from game 1, 2, 3. Abba Sangi says, "No hope for India." Don't count your chickens before they hatch, my brother. Less run India struggling from Dare G. And Random Fanboy says, "Easy win here." G replies to Random Fanboy saying, "Not quite there yet." And I must agree, Random Fanboy, the game still goes on. Oh, outside off stump. A little bit of a half volley here to Keegan Peterson. And the 93 from South Africa just drives this through the covers. The crowd love it. And that takes the score to 142. Keegan Peterson now on 71 and now only 70 to win.
It's been a disappointing 25 minutes for India, really. They've really just allowed their intensity to drop and the accuracy with which they started the day. They really had these 2 batsmen under pressure. But we're now seeing the bowling become a bit wayward, a bit ragged. It was a really wide, long half volley from Bumrah.
Besides the 3 slips, a Gullion at points, there's a man at mid-off, mid-on. Square leg, who's going to be doing the fielding now as this ball was full and straight, a little bit too straight on the pads. Jasprit Bumrah seems to be a little bit frustrated with something that Virat Kohli says, just throwing his hands like Cubby from Instagram saying, look at this, what am I supposed to do? But yes, 2 more runs conceded, 144 for 2. Keegan Peterson on 73 and 68 to win.
Well, don't bowl on the pads for starters. Jasprit Bumrah. He's only got 3 men on the leg side, and we've seen all series that Keegan Peterson is pretty strong off his legs. He's got 3 sips in a gully. He should be bowling outside off stump.
This delivery outside off stump, a good length delivery, but Keegan Peterson gets bat behind ball and dots it down to the man at cover for a quick single. 145 for 2. Keegan Peterson now on 74, 67 to win. Edrich Tenha says a little bit of a disagreement here with you, Ken, saying, no, I'm sorry when world sports radio commentators can't agree. One should differentiate between being competitive and being unsportsmanlike. Unfortunately, Kohli, with a C, isn't setting a very good example. And it's difficult to say because, as Ken, you said, he does owe a lot to Test cricket, or has given a lot to Test cricket. We see a field change. The man at third slip has now moved to a leg slip for Rassie van der Dussen. Jasprit Bumrah for the last delivery. It's full edge straight, and it's blocked out by Rassie van der Dussen. 145 for 2, 67 to win. And Rassie van der Dussen still on 16.
Look, I think Virat Kohli did cross the line in shouting into the stump microphones.
Yeah.
That was clear dissent, and he should be punished for it, no doubt. But in general, I think he's a character that adds a lot to Test cricket. He erred in judgment yesterday with what he did, and I expect he'll be punished by the ICC, and quite rightly.
Quick question. I was actually thinking about this. Was that dissent towards the umpire or towards the broadcasters?
It doesn't really matter. That batsmen have been fined before for showing dissent as they're walking off the field. They can be halfway off the field, and if they swear or throw their bat, or you don't have to do it directly to the umpire,
but you need
to be fined for showing dissent. So, yeah. 2
slips. For Umesh Yadav, no gully beyond that. A little bit defensive. It's full it straight, and Keegan Peterson just punches it straight to the man at mid-on for no run. He has a mid-wicket, a man at mid-off, a man at cover, and on the leg side, a man at fine leg, square leg, and a man at third man. A little bit square third man, but yes, in the deep on the offside behind square.
And just looking at the pitch through binoculars, not much green tinge to be seen there anymore. It's another very hot day in Cape Town today. There's a bit of a breeze as well.
Umesh Yadav over the wicket to Keegan Peterson. A good line outside that off stump, that fourth stump line. Looked like it bounced a little bit off a good length as well, but Keegan Peterson did well to get behind it to keep it out. No run. 145 for 267 to win. Peterson and Rassie van der Dussen on 74 and 16 respectively. Don't forget, you can tweet us in at OneWorldSR. We'd love to read your tweets. We love hearing from you. Love just the conversations that you spark up. A good length delivery outside off stump. Keegan Peterson just opens the face of the bat as the man at third man has to do the sweeping. It looks like the batters will take 3 runs and get there comfortably. Great running between the wickets, great fielding, great cricket all round, and the total now 148. Keegan Peterson on 77.
As you pointed out, Seppo, the third man was very square, more like almost a deep backward point, and expertly played by Keegan Peterson, getting on top of the bounce of that back of a length lifting delivery and steering it into really the very big gap between the slips and that man who's now come in a bit closer to a more conventional backward point.
Lots of YouTube comments saying that South Africa will not lose from here. 64 to win. Difficult to lose from this position. Oh, a great length delivery here, wrapping Rassie, I was about to say Rasmus van der Dussen on the pads, but way too high for an appeal. Still 148 for 2. Rassie van der Dussen on 16.
Yeah, I suppose India fairly soon will be heading towards a last roll of the dice, especially if the run rate continues to pick up as it has been going in the last half an hour or so. It's 3.5 for the innings overall at the moment. So I fancy it's probably at least 4 for the last 7 or 8 overs.
It went up from 3.3 at the beginning of the innings. This one pitching in line with leg stump, a good length delivery, just glanced off the pads, and the man at wood wickets does the fielding here. The partnership has moved up to 47. Another good partnership here for the South Africans, and this is how they constructed their innings at the Wanderers, getting good partnerships, building decent partnerships to keep the scoreboard ticking, to put the pressure on the Indian team. And you could definitely feel that the pressure is on the Indians here. It looked like it sort of unraveled a little bit here in the final day. Umesh Yadav coming in, last delivery, a good length delivery just outside the off stump, and Rassie van der Dussen shoulders arms to end the over. 148 for 2, 64 to win. And that is the end of the over. It looks like they're taking drinks.
And just to run through what's happened so far this morning on this 4th day of the decisive 3rd test, which will almost certainly be the final day of this gripping series as well, with clear blue skies over Newlands. South Africa left with a target of 212 to win this test match. Began the day on 101 for 2. And Keegan Peterson and Rassie van der Dussen had to weather an enormous storm in the first few overs from Mohammad Shami and Jasprit Bumrah, but they've done exceptionally well to take their partnership to 47, and the total is 148 for 2. The 2 men dismissed yesterday in the South African second innings were the openers. Aiden Markram caught in the slips by Lokesh Ral off the bowling of Mohammad Shami for 16. And Dean Elgo, off what would be the last ball of the day, caught behind, down the leg side. A very good catch by wicketkeeper Rishabh Pant off the bowling of Jasprit Bumrah for 30. Since then, Keegan Peterson has gone to 77 not out, and Rassie van der Dussen is with him on 16.
We also have some 4-day series updates here. Thank you very much, Tim. The Lions against the Dolphins. Lions sitting on 412 for 5. Richards has got himself a 150. He went out for 151 yesterday. Western Province against Free State. The Western Province sitting on 461 for 5. Bedingham, your boy, Tim's favorite player, is on 118 not out. Tony DeZorzi went out for 97, 3 runs short of his century. The Warriors against the Paul Rocks. Warriors were bowled out for 245. The Paul Rocks, in reply, have scored 44 for 3. Van der Berg got 6 for 76. Fantastic stuff there from the spin. And the Northern Cape against the Easterns, they're sitting on 358 for 3. And looks like the Southwestern Districts, 115 versus the Tuskers, who are now sitting, was that 315 against the Tuskers, who are now on 103 for 1. Northwest on 147 against the Titans, who are at 118 for 3. Heinrich Klaassen, a cheeky little 53 not out. Mpumalanga, 216 against Limpopo, who are now into bat in reply with 82 for 2. And those are the 4-day series updates. Thank you so much for that, Tim. Don't forget to keep watching some domestic cricket. Very vital that we keep watching that stuff, because those guys are the ones that come into the test side.
Back to this game, Seppo, and just 64 runs to get now for South Africa with 8 wickets in hand. Clearly, India have not had a good first hour, with 47 runs being added in that time.
Without taking a wicket.
In just about 14 overs, 13 overs and 2 balls. What do you think India need to do differently to try and turn this around? Time is getting short for them.
I think the key, it's difficult to say now with time getting short, with not a lot of runs to defend either. You feel like you could just throw all caution to the wind and get attacking, but then the game is basically over. It was key that they came out firing, which they did. Mohammad Shami was definitely looking very good with the outswinging deliveries, but he can't bowl forever. Umesh Yadav, first change, has also been a little bit expensive. So maybe bring in Shadil Thakur. He's very good at hitting cracks and exploiting inconsistent bounce. So potentially just a bowling change from the Calvin Grove end.
Yeah, well, Shami only bowled 4 overs this morning, so it's not as if he's bowled a lot. I see he is now going to replace Bumrah at the Weinberg end. And you mentioned Shardul Tucker, and I agree, he's been a threat with the ball in the last 2 test matches. I would bring him on at the Calvin Grove in place of Yadav, who doesn't seem to be causing too many difficulties at the moment. India need to somehow create some pressure in order to take wickets.
Mohammad Shami to Keegan Peterson from the Weinberg end. It's full, it's straight, and it's blocked out by Keegan Peterson for no run. We have a few praises here for Keegan Peterson. Ravi, the heavy roller, saying that Keegan Peterson has reached his highest score. Keep it up, lad. And even Michael Brink saying, Keegan, push on. Hope he gets a deserved ton, and it will be a deserved ton. The top run scorer in the series so far. Doesn't look like that title is he's going to be dethroned from that anytime soon, unless Themba Bavuma comes out. Doesn't have enough runs to do it. So he will be the top run scorer of the series. Mohammad Shami coming over the wicket to Keegan Peterson. This one, it's a good length delivery just outside off stump, and Keegan Peterson just opens the face of the bat and guides it past the man at second slip to bring up the 150 for South Africa. 150 for 2. That 150 coming in 207 minutes, 261 balls, 19 fours to get to 152. The Armchair Cricket Podcast saying, haven't gotten through the first hour unscratched. South Africa are now beginning to score runs, especially from Umesh Yadav, he was a bit expensive, who has gone for nearly a run a ball. Maybe it's time to end up with Ashwin and rotate the paces from the other.
I don't think they have time to rotate paces. It's also the 50 partnership between Peterson and Van der Dussen of just 82 deliveries in 70 minutes.
Shami in again, back of a length delivery outside off stump. Keegan Peterson leans back and cuts this to a vacant point region, but the man sweeping at third man does the fielding. Just a single there, 153 for 2, 59 to win now, 8 wickets in hand.
What a magnificent series it's been for Keegan Peterson. Before this really high-profile series, he played 2 tests in the West Indies without much success. But for me, he's probably the man of the series because it's been very tough conditions for batting throughout, and to be the leading run scorer and with 3 half-centuries in his last 4 innings, it's been exceptional.
Shami coming in, 2 slips, a gully to Rassie van der Dussen. It's full just on that off-stump line, and Rassie van der Dussen blocks this out. Still 153 for 2, still on 16 van der Dussen, and still 59 to win. He has himself a cover, a man at deep backward point, mid-on, mid-off, and on the leg side, a deep square leg, or rather a sweeper. Not quite as square, it looks a little bit straighter, and then a man at fine leg.
Yeah, and it's been tough runs by Keegan Peterson, tough conditions I mentioned. But also he's been in tough situations and he's shown a great temperament.
Mohammad Shami in again, a fantastic delivery. It looked like a move away from Rassie van der Dussen. He played this out to the man at cover, who quickly tried to run him out, missed the stumps, and then the batters took a quick single from the little bit of an overthrow there. 154 for 2.
Mayank Agarwal, was it really necessary to have a shy there? I don't think Van der Dussen was in any danger of being run out. It's these little soft moments from India that have released the pressure on the Proteas, just giving away a run there. Off a very good delivery by Shami, which had Van der Dussen in a bit of difficulty.
You know what? It was desperation, and at this time, you do anything for a wicket. As Shami comes in again, a good length delivery on top of off stump. Keegan Peterson on the back foot. Blocks this out to end the 44th over. 154 for 2, 58 to win. Peterson on 82 and Rassie van der Dussen on 17. Partnership 53.
The funny thing about wickets is that generally, if you chase them, if you're like a dog chasing a car down the road, you generally don't get them.
That's true.
It's a process to get wickets. You've got to build pressure. You've got to bowl a few deliveries in the right areas, and India, I get it. As that runs to win target drops down and down, it's on 58 now. The sense of desperation rises for India. Everything becomes a bit more frantic, a bit more hectic. it's a race against not so much a clock, but a figure that's steadily dropping downwards.
Indeed, need to arrest the runs, need to find some sort of breakthrough, and the perfect man for the job, Shuttle Takur, I believe, has now come into the attack. He'll be coming from the Calvin Grove end. We have a little comment here from Alomazai S saying David Bedingham played a classy innings on a tough pitch at a very good strike rate. David must be in the squad for the New Zealand series. And then G replies, David had a great county season. Pick him before England do. And Alomazai completely agrees. Shuttle Takur starting with a full-length delivery outside off stump. Rassie van der Dussen didn't even move, and the score didn't move either. 154 for 2, 58 to win.
Yeah, I think Bedingham probably hasn't quite yet racked up the numbers in South Africa to get into the Test squad just yet. He's only had 24 innings in his top-level 4-day career in South Africa, averaging over 50 so far. So certainly one to keep an eye on.
Takur coming over the wickets to Rassie van der Dussen, well outside the off stump. A very elaborate leave, the one where you sort of twist and keep the bat on the leg side. Shuttle Takur has himself two slips, a gully, a man at deep backward points, a man at cover, mid-on, mid-off, mid-wicket, and a man at fine leg.
He's been the master of the wobble seam delivery in his last 2 Test matches, Takur.
Coming in again outside the off stump, same result. Keegan from Rassie van der Dussen, the twisting leave as that goes to Rashid Punt, no run.
Shortish man, Shardul Takur for a pace bowler, but stocky. But he looks a determined figure, no nonsense kind of guy.
Not gonna lie, I like his mustache. Just from aesthetics, a purely aesthetic thing. Do yourself a favor.
It's a goodie.
Go check out that mustache. It's very well trimmed. And he's coming in over the wickets to Rassie van der Dussen. Outside off stump, same result. Looks like he's not getting Rassie van der Dussen to play at any of those. Looking a little bit frustrated. Really wants something to happen. Still 58 to win. Still 154. Still Rassie van der Dussen on 17. Peterson on 82. And the partnership 53.
Shardul Takur, that moustache gives him the bearing of a military officer.
It actually does. Coming in again, outside off stump, same result. Shoulders, arms from Rassie van der Dussen.
This is fine for India. It's not particularly threatening, but what it has done is it stopped the scoring. And just to bring a bit of calm to situation, because South Africa were rollicking along for the last 40 minutes or so.
It's that pressure building that you're talking about, Ken. This is how you sort of build the pressure. Batsmen not getting any bats on ball. It's difficult when the score isn't helping you. You only have 58 to defend, but that's the best that you can do. Outside off stump, driven with authority by Rassie van der Dussen, straight to Umesh Yadav, who fielded that at mid-off, but wasn't able to stop the single. 155 for 2, a blemish to that over, which would have been a maiden. And Rassie van der Dussen on 18 to win 57. And the partnership 54.
Yeah, good over though by Takur. He kept to that line outside off stump. And it was only the last ball when he went a bit too full that he gave away a run. We still have pretty much the southeasterly wind blowing here in Cape Town. Generally the wind when there's good weather. So it will be helping Shami to take the ball away from the right-hander towards the slips, of which there are 2, and there's a wider man who, depending on your view, is either a gully or a fifth slip.
Mohammed Shami coming in from the Wynberg end, back of a length delivery, outside off stump. Rassie van der Dussen did play at that. A little bit of a catch appeal, but wafted at that unnecessarily. No run, no wickets, still 155 for 2. I just noticed I'm struggling to find Chiteshwa Pujara on the field. He dropped the catch at first slip, and now I can't see him. Virat Kohli standing at first slip with KL Rao, and Ajinkya Rahane at Gully. Struggling to find him. I hope he still is okay. Mohammed Shami, a fantastic delivery, full on off stump, and kept out by Rassie van der Dussen. Oh yes, Chiteshwa Pujara is at sweeping on the leg side. There has been relegated to the boundary after that drop catch.
They have taken one man out of the slip cordon, so maybe we'll be kind to Pujara and say that's why he's no longer there. He's chopped a couple in the series. A feature of the Proteas has been how much their slip catching has improved
Truly.
over the last year or so.
Mohammed Shami coming in again. It's full straight, played down the ground as it passes the batters, as it passes non-striker. They thought about the run, decided against it as the man at mid-on swept that up. No run, 155 for 257 to win. And I cannot agree more with you, Ken. The only drop catches that we saw were absolute screamers. A few that Aiden Markham had to really jump, leap up into the air to take. They were coming pretty quickly as well. So they really smacked him on the hands, and at least he saved the boundary. But he did take an absolute screamer eventually. That of Virat Kohli, a very important wicket in this game. Mohammed Shami outside off stump, a good length delivery. Rassie van der Dussen wants nothing to do with it. 155 for 2. The score remains unmoved.
Yeah, Shami, 4 balls this over. 2 have gone away from the right hander. 2 have come in, just showing the skills, the wonderful skills that he brings to his bowling. And he's had a very good series for India. I would say probably their best bowler overall in terms of consistent threat.
That was the word, consistency, that I was about to use as well. He comes in again, a good length delivery. Rassie van der Dussen comes forward to it. Didn't quite middle it, but it did go in front of square to the man at cover. No run, 1 delivery left. And Mohammed Shami in the Centurion test, I could remember when a wicket fell, he was brought into attack and took some more wickets. He could really change the complexion of the game, really put the Indian team in a little bit more control. And right now, the most consistent of the bowlers. Jasprit Bumrah did look good, but there are times when he did look a little bit flat. You'd feel as Shami comes in again. Last delivery of the over. Oh, a good length delivery just going away from Rassie van der Dussen. He comes forward to it, and it just sails past that outside edge. A fantastic over here from Mohammed Shami. It was a maiden 155 for 2, 57 to win. Peterson on 82. And Rassie van der Dussen on 18.
I think if Rassie van der Dussen is honest with himself, there were a couple of deliveries in that over that he could have left alone. He didn't need to play at them. Flirting with danger there outside his off stump. Mohammed Shami, of course, those game-changing abilities in the South African first innings. He very much changed the momentum of the game by getting 2 wickets in an over. Temba Bavuma and Kyle Varane.
Charles Tucker coming in again. 2 slips a gully. This one pitched in that 4th stump line. A very full, driven on the front foot by Keegan Peterson to the man at mid-off. No run there. Still 155 for 2. We have a tweet from Ravi, the heavy roller, saying this could be the last time we see Yadav, Ishad, Rahane, Ashwin, Pujara on South African shores. And something that I was thinking about when watching Virat Kohli bat, I was in the stands just giving him a little bit of a chirp. This would be the last chance for this Indian team to truly come to South Africa and stamp their mark. Right now, not looking too good. Oh, chopped it on. Has Keegan Peterson, a fantastic back of a length delivery from Shadul Thakur, a bottom edge, and just chopped that onto his stumps. And that sees the end of Keegan Peterson after scoring a very valuable 82 runs.
Well, it just seemed to hurry Keegan Peterson a bit. An effort ball by Shadul Thakur. But Keegan Peterson has undeniably arrived at the test, on the test arena. What a wonderful series he's had. And although he won't be taking South Africa to victory today, he has certainly laid the platform for Temba Bavuma and Rashid van der Dussen to do so.
Thank you very much, Ken. 82 of 113 balls with 10 fours. Keegan Peterson, the man from the Boerland, from Paul here, close to six-gun grill Newlands, has taken South Africa to the brink of a famous victory. 155 the score as he played on to that delivery from Shaldo Taka, and it is 3 wickets down, sharing in a critical partnership with Rassie van der Dussen. And the third wicket for South Africa goes down. Thanks to Ken and to Tsepo for bringing us that action-packed session of 40 minutes. A sniff maybe for India, as I am joined here by Tim Dale-Lace in the commentary box. I'm James King, and it's really great to have you with us for this, the final day of this enthralling test series, this enthralling test match, the Betway Test Series, brought to you here on One World Sports Radio, 1WSR.com, courtesy of Cricket South Africa. We are at six-gun grill Newlands. Tim, welcome.
Thank you for having me. We said that South Africa needed to be better at the second innings. The individual performances needed to perform better. And the 3 guys that have gone out have all improved their scores significantly, which should mean the difference.
Tucker away from us at the Kelvin Grove end, in to the new man who is Temba Bavuma. Another man from the Cape replaces his fellow Cape compatriot, and this one he leaves alone outside the off stump. There is no run. Keegan Peterson visibly distraught as he chopped that ball onto his stumps. He wanted to be there at the end. An incredible 88 to follow on from his test best at that time, 72 in the first innings. South Africa in pole position here. Tucker away from us to Bavuma. Shoulders arms outside the off stump on about a 5th stump offside line. And there is no run. 155 for 3 in the 47th over. Hit the bottom of the bat, Tim, onto the middle and off stump there. What a great innings, though, from Keegan Peterson.
Outstanding innings. As Ken was pointing out earlier, he looks as if he belongs in this Proteas outfit. He looks as if he's going to have a long test career if his form continues.
Wow, this ball from Charlotte Tucker took off, swung in sharply at Temba Bavuma. He leaves it on length more than on line, which is fortunate for him, as it takes it over the top of middle and leg stump and through to punt, swinging viciously into the right-hander. Wow, that one came from absolutely nowhere. Swing, bounce, pitching, moving into the batter. Wow.
Well, Shardul has been very effective in this series. He's been the guy that India have often gone to get wickets. He's been a surprise package, and he's being a surprise package in this final day.
And that last delivery of the over from Tucker, the successful one for India, is played out into the covers by Temba Bavuma, and there is no run, no more action in that over. 155 for 3 after 47. The platform laid here by Peterson and van der Dussen. Peterson and Elgar. South Africa need 57 runs to win.
Just on that, what I said earlier when I came in, on the improvement of the second innings by South Africa, Elgar made 3 in the first innings, 30 in the second. Markram 8 in the first innings, 16 in the second. Peterson 72 in the first innings, and now 82 in the second innings.
It is Mohammed Shami away from us and towards us into Rassie van der Dussen. It is played defensively into the offside by the South African number 4 into the offside field, and fielded by, is that Agarwal, is it Pujara there? So it is Mayank Agarwal
in the extra cover position. We have two slips, a gully, a man at a deep backward point on the boundary, extra cover mid-off wide-ish, that's Ashwin, mid-on, a man coming in now to a conventional mid-wicket position, and a Shardul Thakur at long leg. Mohammad Shami picked up the Indian bowlers in this match to Fanadisson. He's forward and defends the ball. It looked like it was moving away from him slightly into the offside. India have just got a sniff here, Tim.
It looked like things were slipping away. It looked like heads were dropping when Keegan Peterson and Russell were together. It looked like South Africa were going to cruise to victory, but you could hear the voices of the Indians in the field. They are buoyed by that wicket. They believe they've still got a chance to turn things around.
It says Shami in towards us from the Weinberg end, and Fanderson is forward, playing that out into the offside, fielded at mid-off by Ashwin. There is no run, 155 for 3 in the middle of the 48th, and Tim's monitoring the tweets that are coming through.
Yeah,
and
got one from Armchair Cricket Podcast. An unlucky way to go, but well played, Peterson. He's brought his team very close to a big series victory.
He has indeed brought his team very close to a huge series victory. This is probably the series South Africa could be seminal in South Africa's cricketing history for these for a young and inexperienced team, as Fanadisson plays this into the leg side, and it's fielded at mid-wicket by Pujara, who put down Keegan Peterson when the score was 126 for 2. It did prove expensive. There have been no runs since the loss of Peterson's wicket, 155 for 3. It remains Fanadisson on 18, Bavuma yet to get off the mark. Mohammad Shami operating from the Weinberg end. He's towards us now, past umpire Holstock, right arm over to Fanadisson, squares him up completely with a beautiful delivery coming forward, but he just can't get the edge on it. It's through to punt. Lots of talk out there. In fact, plenty of talk with both Agarwal and Ashwin converging on the batter, just I'm sure to remind him that he's not good enough to get an edge.
At no time in this innings has Rassi looked settled.
Oh.
He has scratched away to that 18, looking like a man who is at sea. But for South Africa, the important thing is he's still there.
And he is still there after this delivery, which is wide outside the off stump, swinging further away from Shami, short of a length, and Rassi Fanadisson will have absolutely nothing to do with that one. South Africa at the end of a maiden over from Shami, 155 for 3 after 48. Just to give you the bowling figures quickly, Bumrah 1 for 45 of 16, Shami 1 for 40 of 14, Yadav 0 for 22 of 5, Thakur, the wicket in his last over of Peterson, 1 for 18 of 7, and Ashwin 0 for 22 of 6. It will be Thakur, unsurprisingly, to continue from the Kelvin Grove end, and he'll be bowling and running now past umpire Rasmus. He won't be quite doing that. He's going to have to redo that run-up as Temba Bavuma just pulls out at the last minute, something bothering him behind the bowler's arm. We have 2 slips of gully, backward point. Extra cover, wide mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket, and a man on the long leg boundary into the diminutive Bavuma, who plays that one out into the offside, fielded by the man at extra cover, just half forward, getting bat on ball. The Indian bowlers perhaps not making South Africa play enough this morning?
I think they did. I think they bowled outstandingly, particularly Shami. I think they were very unfortunate, very unlucky, got to dismiss Keegan Peterson early on in his innings this morning.
Thakur again to Bavuma. Bavuma this time leaving the ball, in fact, shouldering arms, and he thrusts the left pad across in line with the off stump and leaves that one. And there is no addition to the score as it goes through to Rishabh Pant, 155 for 3 in the 49th. Fanadisson on 18. That partnership of 54 between Fanadisson and Peterson absolutely crucial in the context of the game.
It certainly looks that way as things stand.
Bavuma once again forward to Taka. This time he is forcing him to play on the line and middle and off, and almost a little bit on the walk. Bavuma forward, but he's balanced and plays it into the offside. Pujara once again doing the fielding at that extra cover position. Pujara putting down Peterson at 126 for 2 of the bowling of the impressive Bumrah. Certainly Shami and Bumrah have been incredibly impressive this morning, Tim.
Yeah, they certainly were. Bumrah from the Weinberg end was unplayable at times.
This is that in to Bavuma on the pads, and he drives it off a fullish length delivery into the leg side. Ashwin is around quickly from mid-on, does the fielding, but not before they can take a single that gets Bavuma off the mark. It's 156 for 3 in the 49th over. South Africa edge 1 closer to the win. 56 to win. 156 for 3.
I wonder whether South Africa are going to have to face Ashwin with just 56 runs to go.
It can't be long before Ashwin comes on as Van der Dussen is forward to a ball, moving away from him slightly on middle and off, but there is no danger as he defends that into the offside. Very defensive today. Rassie Van der Dussen left a lot of deliveries. Quite an attacking batsman. He's 18 of 55 deliveries now, and he has shown admirable restraint in what he's been able to do. One just hopes he hasn't gone into his shell too much.
Yeah, similar to what Curry did in the second innings. You do want to see rotation of strike.
Tucker in to him, and he just plays this one straight back down the wicket, and so straight that it actually just rolls slowly onto the wicket at the bowler's end. It's the end of the over. 156 for 3 after 49 overs. We have 28 minutes for the luncheon interval. These two have a job to do for South Africa. 56 to win. Tim, interestingly, 56, sort of a bit of a magical number that I pulled out here. In the South African first innings, they lost their last 6 wickets for 51. India lost their last 6 for 56 in their first innings, and their last 6 for 46 in their second innings. So South Africa not out of the woods yet.
Which is why the Indian field are buoyed. They truly believe they can turn the situation around. They know just how shaky the lower middle order and tail is of South Africa.
And with Mohammad Shami, who's been the pick of the Indian bowlers towards us from the Weinberg end, to Temba Bavuma, who's forward, concentrating heavily, plays that towards the man at mid-off. That's R. Ashwin, and he fields confidently, and the Indian tails are up. They're G'd up. They know the next 10, 15 minutes and the 25 before lunch are crucial if they want to win this test match, win the series for the first time, a series win in South Africa. Virat Kohli desperately wants that.
They would need at least a wicket before the lunch break.
Shami to Bavuma, and this he strays slightly onto the legs of Bavuma. He's not able to get it away, but he does play it up to Jasprit Bumrah at mid-on. There is no run. 2 slips, a 4th slip, a backward point, extra cover, wideish mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket, and a long leg for Bavuma to Mohammad Shami, who's into his 3rd spell. 1 for 40 in 14.2 overs. Quiet spell now after the loss of Peterson. Shami towards us from the Weinberg end. That's a very good delivery, spitting up off a length into Bavuma. He plays it down very well into the offside. Mayank is in from the covers field. No addition to the score. 156 for 3. 56 to win for South Africa. They're 3/4 of the way there. They can feel it, they can touch it, they can taste it.
Yeah, that last delivery was the first bit of, shall we say, variable bounce from a decent length that came up high on Bavuma.
Shami from in once again to Bavuma. He plays this down into the offside. Agawala in quickly from extra cover. There is no run. Of course, the two batters at the crease, both plying their trade with the Central Gauteng Lions at the moment. Know each other's batting very well.
They would know each other extremely well. I think they're both very similar characters as well, and flappable about against difficult situations, happy to fight for the team, do the ugly work.
Shami in to Bavuma. This one again. Pitches up off a length, calls Peterson through for a quick single. Good cricket from the South African middle order batter Bavuma as he takes his hand off the bottom of the bat. And that really reared up again off a length into him. But good to take that quick single. He goes on to 2. Hit the top of the bat, almost on the splice. He moves to 2. South Africa 157 for 3. As we see visuals on the big screen of South African hero Keegan Peterson clapping his teammates out in the field. 55 to win, 157 for 3. 1 ball left in Mohammed Shami over. It's a really hot day here at Newlands. We'll chat a bit about that after this delivery. Shami in from the Weinberg end to Peterson on his pads, and he's just able to ride the bounce, play it out into the leg side where Pujara does the fielding at mid-wicket. There is no run, 157 for 3 after 50 overs. Tim, it's a hot day. The wind has just started to come up, but it's pretty windless for the start of the day. Over 30 degrees out in the middle. The heat is on.
The heat's on in more ways than one. You could feel the intensity of the situation. As I said earlier, it just sort of started to drop with that last partnership that South Africa had. But the wicket has given India a glimmer of hope, as your stats point out, that they do have a genuine chance of turning this game around.
Tucker away from us to Bavuma, and he gets a ball short of a length outside the off stump, rides the bounce, plays it out to Bumrah, who is at a backward point position. There is no addition to 157 for 3. Got some tweets that have come in, Tim.
There's just a couple, but the one that I spotted was from Ravi Reddy asking why Ryan Rickleton was not released like a few of the other players to play full-day cricket. The answer would be concussion replacement for Kyle Verreynne, if that should happen.
Tucker in to Bavuma. It is on a length outside the off stump on about a 6-stump off stump line. Bavuma will have absolutely nothing to do with it as it goes through to keep a punt. 157 for 3. Just over 20 minutes to go to the luncheon interval. South Africa still have 5 sessions after this to get the 55 runs they need. 7 wickets in hand. India desperate for another breakthrough before the luncheon interval to bring in what will be a very nervous Kyle Verreynne.
Indeed, and India will know that.
Tucker in to Bavuma on his pads, foolish, and he'll feel he missed out there. He's upset with himself, you can see. But he can't let anything rattle him now. He has a job to do. The man from Langa here in the Cape, educated up in Gauteng, playing for the Central Gauteng Lions. He has got a huge job on his hands for South Africa to take them as close to, or if not to, victory. What a fairy tale that would be for him.
The better fairy tale would be Kyle Verreynne hitting the winning runs on his home ground.
It would.
I do get you that. That would be the better one.
Yeah. Winning this test match would be a fairy tale for South Africa, no doubt. Anyway, if as it's Bavuma defending, coming forward to Tucker to ball just outside the off stump, and there is no run. 157 for 3. Yes, Kyle Verreynne, a product of Weinberg Boys High, just down the drag, as it were, from here down the M3. This beautiful ground here at Newlands. We have the Oaks and the suburb of Claremont to our left. To the right of us, the railway stand and the Table Mountain Range. It is a cloudless day here at 6 Gun Grill. Newlands, Tucker in to Bavuma. Lets it go on length as he comes forward. Shoulders, arms. The ball just outside the off stump. There is no run. 157 for 3.
it is certainly what you would call beach weather out there.
I think so, yes. Camps Bay will no doubt be crowded today. Those of you that know the geography of Cape Town, probably one of the most popular beaches available to the general public here in this beautiful city of Cape Town. Has been an absolute pleasure bringing this broadcast to you as Tucker is away from us now to Bavuma. Another very good delivery on the line of middle and off stump. Bavuma all defense in behind it, and it is the end of the over. 157 for 3 after 51. 55 to win for South Africa. They are more than 3/4 of the way to their victory target.
The runs have dried up considerably the last few overs, but Bavuma does look very compact. It looks formed, which it certainly is. It's had a very good series, so South Africa do have a lot of time to get these runs. They will want to get them as quickly as possible, but they do have a lot of time to get them.
Another change of bowling, and Jasprit Bumrah back once again from the Wynberg end. This will be his third spell, long spell this morning of 6.2 overs. He's back again for his fourth spell. He's going to be bowling to Rassie van der Dussen. He replaces Mohammed Shami. He's away from us, away towards us now. He's away from umpire Holdstock, and this one is short of a length outside the off stump, just left alone by van der Dussen. 157 for 3. Final throw of the dice before lunch.
Yep, that would be the case with 18 minutes to go. It will be interesting to see if they do give Ashwin a couple of overs before the lunch break, because Rassie has not played him well at all at this series.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't bowled Ashwin as yet from the Kelvin Grove end, but at the moment we're concentrating on Bumrah, who's in from the Wynberg end. And that is very unfortunate for India and for Pujara as he throws the ball in, hits the stumps. He's appealing for a run out against Rassie van der Dussen. They have gone upstairs, perhaps thinking that with the direct hit, van der Dussen was not quite back in his crease or had already started to run again as that ball hits. Very difficult to know what happened there. Van der Dussen looks quite confident. Pujara maybe appealing more in hope than in judgment. We're waiting for the visuals to come up on the big screen. Tim, your view on that?
Well, Rassie seems nonplussed at all. He seems he's convinced that he's in. So I'll go with him. I'll go with his confidence.
And you are correct to go with his confidence. It is not out. I'm sure we'll see that now on the big screen as a Red Wing Starling flies in front of us from the railway stand across towards the Oaks. It is 158 for 3 in the 52nd over. They've got to run off that ball ricocheting from the end. And that is played by Bavuma. He stands up tall outside the off stump. He's broken the shackles, slightly short of a length, wideish from Bumrah, and he plays it beautifully in the gap between the cover, the extra cover and backward point for 4. To win it now for South Africa, 50 to win, around 50, 162 for 3, and Bavuma goes to 6. Played that incredibly well. He's been very patient so far. It's taken a while for this partnership to get going. That is the 5th in sort of the 6th over after it started. It's only got 7 runs. So only 2 runs off the first 6 overs of the partnership. But Tim, as you said, patient, watchful, not wanting to give anything away.
Yeah. Bit of a release there for South Africa.
Bumrah in to Bavuma. He's up on his toes, one short of a length into the body, and he plays it down into the offside. Mayank in the covers comes in and does the fielding, rubbing the ball vigorously. Mayank Agarwal. That previous delivery that went for 4, beautifully played by Bavuma. The deficit now 50 for South Africa to win the match, to win the series, to win the Freedom Trophy, to ensure that Virat Kohli doesn't win a series in South Africa. This is huge. Bumrah to Bavuma, short of a length. He shoulders arms, goes over the top of off stump through to Punt, the wicketkeeper. Punt, a hero yesterday, 100 not out. The first Indian wicketkeeper to score centuries in India, in England, in Australia, and in South Africa.
Yeah, it's quite something. But we've always known that he was a talented individual. It's just a matter of making sure that we saw that and making it count. He certainly did yesterday.
Bumrah wants to make it count now for India, past umpire Holstock towards us from the Weinberg end to Bavuma, and it's through the covers. A ball over pitched, and he plays it beautifully between extra cover and mid-off to the boundary for the second boundary of the over. The deficit, the win now 46 runs away for South Africa, 166 for 3 of 52. Bavuma to 10, the partnership to 11.
Bavuma is on a seriously good purple patch at the moment in his cricket career. Absolutely majestic drive, as good as you'll see. Good over the ball and timed it to perfection.
So some tweets coming in, which one which I think is quite amusing. Leah, Guten Morgen, Leah, there in Germany. It's Guten Tag here from South Africa, saying Bavuma looking compact. Well, Tim, that's because he's as wide as he is tall in the shoulders. That is a very compact individual. Rassie van der Dussen taking strike to Charlotte Taku, who's bowling from the Kelvin Grove end, which is the end we're bringing this commentary to you from, and he goes forward to that, gets hit on the pad, bobbles up over the top of middle stump. A little bit of excitement there for the Indian fielders, but nothing to report. 166 for 3. Perhaps, oh my goodness, you can see why they were excited.
Away from his body, leaving a gap between bat and pad, gets the inside edge, and it somehow just sort of floats over the middle stump. How it didn't hit the stumps, I will never know.
Tucker away from us to Van der Dussen into the body on the slightly leg side as she defends, as we've said quite a lot during this morning's session. Defensive Van der Dussen, a man who likes to play an attacking game. 19 of 61 deliveries. He's tempered that today, Tim. He's been defensive. He's played and missed a lot, but he's still there. That's what South Africa will find the most important. You alluded to what Dean Elgar said about his innings at the Wanderers, playing a similar innings here today.
It did. Absolutely. Spot on.
Tucker away from that. Into the pads of Van der Dussen. He's through quickly, calls his partner Bavuma through, says, come on, Temba, let's get one less to chase. And they do indeed. 45 to win for South Africa, 167 for 3. In the 53rd over, Van der Dussen to 20, the partnership 12 after the loss of Keegan Peterson, who got to his highest test score today of 82, surpassing the 72 from the first innings. We surpassed his 62 he scored at the Wanderers. What a series this has been for him. Tucker away from us to Bavuma. It's on the pads, and Bavuma drives. Well fielded by Umesh Yadav at wide-ish mid-on, diving to his right as if his life depended on it to stop that going to the boundary. And they take a single, 168 for 3. It's the score. Bavuma to 11. Van der Dussen is on 20, 44 to win for South Africa. 7 wickets to win for India. This is looking big advantage South Africa at the moment, but we know 1 wicket can bring 2 wickets on this particular surface. The enthusiasm will be there.
Yes. Very brutal South African batting order.
Tucker away from us now to Van der Dussen. He leaves that alone outside the off stump. You're saying, Tim, a brittle batting order?
Yeah, no, this is a brutal batting order that is fighting for its life in this series. Desperate to win the series, to beat the number 1 ranked team in the world. It would be something momentous. Just a quick tweet before the next delivery. Verse Script Radio says they are really enjoying the superb coverage of the series. Thanks, Reverse Swept.
Tucker away from us now. Tucker and that through to Van der Dussen, who leaves it alone on length more than on line outside the off stump though, and it goes through to the wicketkeeper punt. 168 for 3. That is 53 overs bowled. Bavuma on 11. Van der Dussen on 20. The partnership is 13. In this session so far, Tim, just take us through the numbers.
We've had 23 overs, 23.2 overs, 67 runs, 1 wicket, and South Africa going at 2.87 runs an over.
Just a small break in play here as we see some work being done on that. Are we going to have a bowling change? That's why there's work being done out there. Man putting on the pads and getting the helmet, because it's going to be R. Ashwin for the first time this morning, and Agarwal is going to be putting on the tin can. He's got those pads on to protect his legs, and he will be bowling his third spell of this innings. It will be R. Ashwin, and he'll be bowling from the Wynberg end. He hasn't bowled yet from the Wynberg end in this innings. Tim, both sessions yesterday, spells yesterday from the Kelvin Grove end. He's going to be into Temba Bavuma. We'll give you the feel after this first delivery. In now to Bavuma, shortish outside the off stump, just defends into the offside. We have a slip, a backward point, an extra cover, mid-off, a man at long on, extra mid-wicket, deep mid-wicket, and under the helmet at a short leg, just defends back to the bowler. Extra cover comes around to field. We do also have a man on the long leg boundary for Bavuma. 8 minutes to the luncheon interval here at 6 Gun Grill Newlands, and Bavuma comes forward defensively, bobbles up potentially inside edge onto the pad. Shouts of catch by the Indians, but there is no danger there. The ball drops well short of Agarwal. Ashwin in again from the Kelvin Grove end to Bavuma. It's short and down the leg side, and that is meat and drink to a top order batter as the Bavuma plays it down to the man at long leg. Shardul Thakur does the fielding. Another single to South Africa, another run closer to that target. 169 for 3, 43 to win. Ashwin, I thought he would have come on earlier, Tim.
He should have come on an hour earlier than this. Yeah. It's very similar to what happened in the last test. Came on in Wanderers when the game was pretty much over. At least on paper, it's exactly the same situation. He's just got 43 runs to defend.
Towards us now, and he's changed the field for Van der Dussen, who defends awkwardly, it must be said, into the leg side. He's got a leg slip, almost a shortish leg gully, which is Pujara. He's got a forward short leg, a man at a catching mid-wicket. That is the captain. As he sweeps this beautifully out into the deep, it is fielded by the man at a long leg, that is Shardul Thakur, and they're through for a single. 42 to win, 170 for 3 after 54 overs. South Africa are edging their way closer and ever closer, almost inexorably, if you're an Indian fan, towards that winning target of 212, Tim.
Yeah, it's certainly looking very rosy for South Africa and the South African dressing room. Sure, they'll be breathing just a slightly easier than they were this morning when Bumrah was causing Keegan Peterson, Russell Van der Dussen, all sorts of problems.
Was indeed, and balls flying past the outside edge. A lot of playing and missing, but nothing going India's way this morning, as nothing is going to go India's way of the first delivery of Shardul Thakur's over, as it is wide outside the off stump, short, and is left alone by Rassie Van der Dussen. And as we said about Virat Kohli, how often have we said this morning, left alone by Rassie Van der Dussen? 21. He does have the Central Gauteng Lions batter.
The only difference there is Kohli looked solid, And Rassi at the moment doesn't.
No, he does not look solid at all. It's Tucker into him. That is hitting him on the pad. A huge appeal. It looks to me like that is high, and it's still a very big appeal. He was forward, hit him probably on the roll or just below the roll. Are India going to go for the review? They have, unsurprisingly, gone for the review. The issue here, though, for India is, was he too far forward? Was it going to go over the top? Tim signaling out. Maria Erasmus perhaps bitten by yesterday's situation and signaling, giving not out. This could be another huge call for the match. We're all waiting with bated breath here to see if Van der Dussen is going to fall just short of the lunch interval. Review by the fielding team India. They're all gathered around waiting for this decision. They have to take this chance, Tim. They have to see whether this review is going to be successful.
They had to take it. There was no other option. Unless it was a really bad one. They had to take the risk to get a wicket before the lunch break.
You just feel that on balance it's going to be over the top. It's going to be hitting maybe umpire's call. And it is umpire's call indeed on hitting the wickets. So that is going to go South Africa's way once again. And that is going to cause, well, who knows what it is going to cause. We're not going to comment on what it caused yesterday, but South Africa, once again, coming out unscathed from a review from the Kelvin Grove end. Not much talk out there at the moment. A very quiet Indian team after that decision was flashed up on the board. Some discussion between Maria Erasmus and Shardul Thakur, but India have not been successful. Rassi van der Dussen survives that call. Huge call, again, in the context of the game.
You'd have to say luck is with South Africa at the moment.
Thakur in to Van der Dussen, and this is fuller of length this time, maybe trying to compensate slightly for the fact that he just didn't get that decision of the last ball and played competently into the offside and fielded at mid-off by Ashwin. There is no run, 170 for 3 in the 55th over. So we are approaching the luncheon interval. Please stay with us during that luncheon interval as we are going to be having the full quota podcast replay with Sorrel Ervia, as it is the Thakur again into Van der Dussen. He comes forward rather tentatively in defence, plays it out into the offside, and there is no run. The next two deliveries here, Tim, crucial for Rassi van der Dussen playing against Shardul Thakur. He's got the ball to move away. He's got the ball to jag in. And he hasn't had his lines and lengths quite right, but this over, he's got it right.
Yeah, he's been on the money so far. Bit unlucky not to get the wicket, but he'll want to make sure he tries to get the wicket with the remaining balls.
Thakur in to Van der Dussen from the Kelvin Grove end is defended by Van der Dussen into the leg side. Mayank Agarwal at mid-wicket does the fielding. There is no run.
Just on the podcast that you will be hearing at the lunch break, it's rather well timed because Sorrel Ervia may well be the next opener that South Africa try in the next test match that they play.
He is in the frame, as is Rassi van der Dussen here, facing up to Shardul Thakur. It's a bit of a release ball on the pads and foolish, and it's tickled down to the man at long leg. It looks like Mohammed Shami down there, and there is a single. And in fact, the umpire saying, gentlemen, that is lunch. On the stroke of lunch, a single for Rassi van der Dussen. The partnership 16 now between these two. Just to run through the scorecard quickly for you. Score 171 for 3 for South Africa after 55 overs. They need 41 runs to win in this match. At the crease at the moment, Temba Bavuma on 12, Rassi van der Dussen on 22. He batted out the morning session for 22 against his normal run of play. He faced over 60 balls, 72 balls for that 22. He's there. The morning belonged, though, to Keegan Peterson for South Africa. 82 he scored before he chopped on the ball from Shardul Taka. South Africa have scored 70 runs for the loss of 1 wicket in the 25.2 overs since the start. They are in pole position to win the test, to win the Freedom Series, and to ensure that Virat Kohli and his Indian team do not win in South Africa for the first time. We'll be back with you after the luncheon interval. Please stay with us to listen to the Full Quota podcast. From us, it's goodbye for now.
Hello, and welcome to the Full Quota podcast. My name is Mpho Mklwane, and I'm joined by Tim Dale-Lace. We are back with our In Conversation series to lead you into the domestic season. We've got a very lovely guest we're going to be talking about today. But before you do anything else, remember One World Sports Radio will be broadcasting the Sri Lanka series next week. So please do make sure that you have subscribed or liked, as well as clicked on that notification bell so that you could get information when we do go live for those games. The Proteas are in Sri Lanka, and also we'll be broadcasting the SA women's team in the Caribbean. The times are similar to the men's time, so very normal 8 p.m. time slots and 4 p.m. for the ODIs. So that's going to be quite intriguing and interesting to see how the women's team prepare for their own World Cup going into New Zealand next year in March. Tim, how are you doing, my man? It's been 2 days.
I'm doing really good. I don't know if anyone else saw that I tweeted earlier today that we have a guest who was with Craig Govender, who we interviewed a few weeks ago in the Caribbean. So, without further ado, we have Saul Elvia.
Yes, we do. Hi, Saul. Welcome.
Hello, guys.
To the Full Quota podcast. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. Thanks. Thanks very much for having me on your show. Nice to see put some names to faces.
That's really good. Yeah, Tim's the guy. For those who don't know, if you didn't know and you're living under a rock, Saul Elvia had a really good season last year. Scored 569 runs in the 4-day series. He was the 7th highest run scorer, and his runs got him into the Proteas squad that played against Sri Lanka, Pakistan, as well as got him to the Caribbean, which is probably one of the best holiday Saral's ever been on, but we'll ask him about that. Saral, we'll ask all our guests here, how did your cricketing journey start? Was it a bug? How did you get into the game?
Sure. It just started at primary school, I guess. You obviously get to choose some summer sports, and I think I picked up, let's try to smash this thing as far as you can. Ended up playing back in the day. It was called Baker's Mini Cricket. I know it's KFC Mini Cricket at the moment. But yeah, you play Baker's Mini Cricket. You're on a big field with all your mates, and you whack the ball, and there's no boundaries, so you just run. And I think I enjoyed that. Everyone gets a chance to bat. Everyone gets a chance to bowl. So that's where my journey started, and that's where the love of the game started for me.
And once you had got that love of the game, where did the progression start? When did you realize, okay, this is not just a bit of fun, I can actually make a serious go at this. This can actually be a professional. I can take this professionally and take this to the next level. When did that start to happen for you?
Yeah, I think during my school years, I was playing first team cricket, high school, quite early on in my high school career, from grade 9, grade 10, grade 11, obviously, and then grade 12. So I kind of had a feeling that, this is something I could pursue after school. So I put in a bit of work and a bit of focus into it during school, and then kind of left school. And a lot of people do gap years, then they go to varsity. I came to the Dolphins Academy and thought that, this is how I'm going to progress my career, and kind of went by the wayside, fell to the wayside, went to varsity college, and just kind of, just got caught up, in off-field goodies, should I say. And, cricket didn't really work out for me, but came back to Maritzburg, stayed with my parents for a year or two, and got into the inland side and was really doing nicely. I'd really started then kind of putting focus into my cricket. I just felt like I was wasting a talent, and all the hard work I'd done the years before, at school and at the Dolphins Academy. And when I started reaping some rewards from all this hard work and actually dedicating myself to cricket, I started reaping rewards, and that's where I was like, you know what, this can actually take me a bit further than just playing for inland or just trying to play for the Dolphins. I actually then started setting goals of, one day you want to play for South Africa no matter what. So, I suppose having some one or two faults after school, you learn, and that's probably where I thought, if I work hard and I see some benefits or I see some rewards, that cricket is actually then a game for me.
Okay. I read somewhere that you played in, I think in the Surrey leagues, cricket leagues, for some time. How was your experience playing up there, and what did you learn playing in that different environment compared to obviously being in KZN?
In South Africa? So I went and played for Weybridge Cricket Club in the Surrey Premier League. And I mean, since the day I got there, I was like, this is, I love this place. Everything was just very homey. It wasn't, the clubhouse isn't massive. It's not a very fancy clubhouse. I mean, we play on a what do they call it? Like a public park. It's not owned by the club. So there's a road around the ground. People during the week can have picnics on the field, and but we're a Premier League side and it's strong cricket. So it just felt very, especially if you've played club cricket in Maritzburg or in certain parts of Durban, it's very rustic, if I can call it that. So it felt very homey to me. And I loved the experience there. The people were so good to me. And I think the big thing and especially, I suppose, every youngster that goes abroad is just kind of like, you learn things about yourself because you're in an environment where you're not in a comfort environment. You're not in a comfort zone. You've got to grow up very quickly. You've got to look after yourself. You've got to buy your own food, cook your own food, do your own washing, pay your own bills. So you grow up very, very quickly. So you start learning, mental aspects of yourself that you didn't think you had, because you don't have a choice. It's just you've got to do certain things. So I think growing up and just showing having a bit of independence, I think was very good for me, that side. And I started making really good friends off the field. So, everything can, obviously for us as cricketers, it's just like cricket, but, there's obviously a life after cricket and away from the cricket field. And I think I experienced that quite well. And I was fortunate to experience life off the cricket field as nicely or as well as I did. And I think it just made me grow up very, very quickly and realize that, it's not just all about cricket and what your name is and what comes with cricket. It's, there's life away from the cricket field, and you grow up quickly.
That's true. I did some commentary for the Guerrilla Cricket UK guys when South Africa was playing England straight after the back end of 2020, and guys kept on asking about you because they heard of your stories. You're a legend in those Surrey leagues. And I'm like, how far is Sarel from this SA team? And I was like, well, not that far. But no, I've heard some great things about you, great stories.
Yeah, I've made some good friends over there. I mean, there's probably guys that I've forgotten their names, but if I see them in the streets, I like venturing into London and all the different little villages around. So, I'll forget people's names, but if I see their face, I'll go over and greet them. And it's just, I've got such good memories there, and I'm hoping to go back, hopefully next year, April again. So we'll see what happens.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Hopefully, we won't be on the red list by then.
Yes, well, that's who knows. Hopefully, I mean, if we've had the vaccine, surely someone get us.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
just to go back on your time in Surrey, I had a look at a few scorecards, particularly in that last season that you were there. You played against people like Ollie Pope, who's now a feature on the England side. So if you compare it to the sort of club system over here and over there, it's a lot stronger, isn't it? Because you get those sorts of guys who do play the odd game here and there to get back to fitness or for whatever reason. The standard is a good standard for cricket.
Yeah. I mean, we playing over there is obviously a lot different. Their club structure is a lot different than ours, and they put a lot of focus into their club structure. So whenever the Surrey guys weren't playing over the weekend, or they didn't have a game 3 days or 2 days after a Saturday, they would actually come out and play club cricket, which actually strengthens your club system quite nicely. So I think that's something we can do better in South Africa. I'm sure or should I say in Durban. I just know of Durban or KZN, Maritzburg, where guys are very reluctant to go and play club cricket on a Sunday because I don't know, it's club cricket for guys, which is wrong, because I mean that's your feeder system. That's where we were playing. So we need to go and give back and try to help the younger kids. I mean, imagine batting for, even if it's 5 overs with a youngster or inexperienced first class guy. I mean, he'll gain so much more experience doing that. So they do it right over there in terms of getting guys to go and play club cricket when they are available. So to play against the likes of Ollie when I think he was still at school. I think, I could be wrong. Guys like there's loads of Surrey players. Jason, very good friend of mine. We played 2 games against each other. A lot of guys. So I think we could be better doing that as professional cricketers, to be honest.
I think that's something that we're trying to fix with this new provincial structure, but we will get there. Looking at, I think, your career, would you say that you are a white ball, more inclined to white ball cricket, or more red ball specialist? Because if I look at your career, it feels like there's like a chasm, and it started like last season when all of a sudden Sarl, the red ball player that we've all been waiting for, has come to the fore. But which do you prefer, one, or is it just the way it worked?
It's very interesting. I often get this question, and when I first started playing for the Dolphins, I obviously started with red ball cricket, and I did okay, but I was still trying to kind of find my feet on how to construct an innings in red ball cricket, because it's a lot harder than people think it is. People just think, okay, go out there and leave the wide one, hit the straight one, hit the bad ball, leave the good balls, type of thing. But there's a lot more technical work and a lot more thinking that goes behind red ball cricket. Whereas white ball cricket, go out there, see ball, hit ball, run hard between the wickets. It's intense, and you're just on the go the whole time. And I actually, if we look at my because we're talking about stats now, if we look at my white ball Momentum One Day Cup stats, they're actually quite good.
Well, they are.
I'm not trying to be arrogant or anything, but they're actually quite good. It's my amateur stats that actually makes my all-round stats not look so good, which is very interesting. But so for me, I started off really enjoying white ball cricket, at the Dolphins in Momentum One Day Cup cricket and 2020 cricket. Like, I just felt I could just express myself and just be me, just whack the ball, play all these extravagant shots, and I just wanted to express myself. So it was brilliant. But I think over the years, I'd probably say over the last 24 months, I've really grown into red ball cricket. I've kind of found the process. I've worked really hard at it. So I'm enjoying that process. So at the moment, and I suppose I probably have to say this because I'm in a test squad, or I was in a test squad, but I'm leaning towards a red ball cricket. So yeah, let's say that. I must say, right, one day cricket's not very far behind. Let's go 51-49 red ball cricket.
51-49. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that. That's good. That's all good. I'm happy with that. Okay, so let's talk about that protest call up. Where did it happen? How did it happen? When did you get that call up? What were your emotions?
I think I've just lost you guys there.
Tim was just asking about your protest call up. Where were you when you received the news that you made it into the protest team?
Sorry, it's just a bit. Sorry. Okay, I think you just wanted to know where I was when I received the call up. Sorry, it was just a bit.
Yes.
Yeah. So the first time I was actually we had a day off on the Friday. I think it was a Friday. We got given the day off. It has been quite a tough week. So I decided, my dad just had a shoulder replacement operation in Pietermaritzburg. So I said to my fiance, I'm going to actually drive through, go see my parents. I haven't seen them in a while. Let me just go spend the day with them. And got there early morning, and my dad's like, well, I'm just on my way to some physio. So I was like, okay, well, get in the car. I'll take you quickly, and at least I can spend some time with you. Otherwise, I'm going to have to sit here and wait. And so anyway, I drove him there, and we just started chatting cricket and started actually talking about this test series. Sri Lanka's coming here. It's quite exciting. Bit of international cricket again in South Africa. And yeah, halfway through a session, I was sitting there just scrolling through Twitter, and I looked. There was a press release, or Cricket South Africa released the squad. So I kind of was like, okay, well, let me see who's made it. Obviously, the normals from our team, Cash, and we're obviously expecting Keegan to be in that squad. So yeah, just kind of scroll, try to look through, and then at the bottom, I was like, no way, is that me? So I was very shocked. Honestly, I was blown away. I could not believe it. So I actually jumped up and I tried to show my dad without like making any like a racket in the practice or anything like. Anyway, I just showed him. I don't know actually if he saw, because he just kind of like frowned and then kind of looked at the lady, and like they kept doing their thing. So I ran outside, phoned my mom, phoned my fiance, my gran, all the family first, and it was quite an emotional phone call to them, to be honest. I think they're the closest people that have known what I've gone through over the last 18 months or so. It's been a very roller coaster ride off the field. So yeah, for them it was probably more exciting, or more probably a happier moment for them.
That's an amazing story.
Awesome.
That's really good to hear. Well, I wasn't surprised after you put the lines to the sword at 199. I was like, okay, well, it's about time, and you cannot ignore such a very good score. Speaking about that, let's actually talk about that. So that 199, it was the first game of the season. What was going through your mind, like when you got past the? What was it when you realized that actually no, I could put this team to bed?
Sure. I'll tell you what. I'm supposed you can speak to any batsman. That first game of the season's a nervy one, because you do all the hard work in the off season, and all you want to do is you just want to get off the mark and just kind of settle into your innings. And I got off to quite a good start, quite a flying start. And I think, from what I can remember, I played a reverse sweep off Panky, and I was just like, today's the day. Today I'm going to make sure I get a big one. I don't know what it was about that shot, but I was just like, today's the day. Like, I don't know, something was just in my head. I'll remember that for a very long time. And when I got to 100, it was I was probably relieved to get there, but also I think I had a little celebration. It wasn't anything over the top, because I knew that we had a job to do, and them, the Lions were a very strong side. They were the 4-day trophy holders, and with a lot of South African players in their side. So you want to make a statement, especially with us as the Dolphins at home, spinning conditions. We wanted to really, really set the tone and send a message to the other side. So for me as an opener and a guy that was in that position to be able to lead the team to that position, I made sure I dug in and I did what I had to do to get our side to a good position.
Awesome. You talk a lot about the Dolphins and a lot about how happy you are sort of the last sort of 24 months. Tell us what it's like to work with Imran Khan as a coach. I've interviewed him on a different broadcast. I found him to quite be a sort of very engaging individual. So just tell us about him and the way he goes about things with you guys at the Dolphins.
Imran, I mean, I first got to play with him, at the Dolphins. I actually started opening the batting with him. So I got to know him quite well. And he's just one of those good human beings. I don't think he has a bad bone in his body, to be very honest. And he's such a calming person. He's just got a calm nature. Nothing flusters him. It's incredible. So to work with him, I mean, he's so knowledgeable. It's ridiculous. The cricketer Imran Khan that I know, and then our coach Imran Khan, it's like it's two completely different people. It's incredible. And a lot of guys that have played with me and now see him as a coach will understand what I'm saying. But he's a good guy. He's, like I said, very knowledgeable, and he's such an easy guy to speak to, about batting and about cricket. And you kind of sit back and you just listen to what he says, and you go, "Wow!" Like, I think he retired way too early. But as a coach, he's doing incredible things. He knows what makes people tick. The Dolphins players, and he just knows what we need as a side. Not just each individual, but what type of brand we can play as a side. Every side has their different brand, and he just knows everyone so well that he understands what brand we need, at the Dolphins to succeed. And I mean, his record speaks for itself, to be very honest. He's busy rebuilding a squad every year. He's getting new faces, so it's exciting for him. And I think, I don't think we're going to see him in the franchise circuit for much longer, to be honest. I'd like to see him for at least another year or two, but I think he's wasted at franchise level, to be very honest.
When I spoke to him, that was my concern. I said, this guy is on a different level. He spoke I was so impressed with him when I interviewed him. It was as I say, I agree. I think in a couple of years down the line, he's going to be flying the roost somewhere else.
Hopefully in South Africa.
Hopefully in South Africa.
Yes, all for South Africa. Well, he did go to Pakistan as part of that coaching side team there for the limited overs team, which I thought was really good.
Very good exposure.
Speaking about it is, and that's what you need, and even the players in the franchise circuit require that. Speaking about that exposure, so you arrive in the Proteas camp. What was your thoughts when you arrived?
Sure, my first tour, I was very nervous. It's a national side. You're always reading about them. You're always seeing pictures. You're in the stands watching them, or you're watching their bus drive past, on the way to the ground, or you see them at training sessions, or you're bowling to them as youngsters. So I was very, very nervous, and my first little interaction with Sri Lanka, I just stayed very quiet. I observed from a bit of a distance, just try to kind of get a feel of certain personalities, the people that I'll be sharing a change room with, and just spending most of my days with, being in a bubble. So I just try to kind of see what makes certain people take, who can you have a little joke with, who can you be serious with, who's approachable, who's a bit drawn back, or just reserved, should I say. But it was, I think I went about it the right way, because the next trip I was a bit more, I then figured out, okay, this is the guy I can go and speak to, or this is the guy I can have a laugh with, this is the guy I can have a drink with. Different conversations I can have with different guys. And by the third trip, it was just, I think you're so comfortable with everyone, you can do anything with everyone. That great bunch of guys in that group, and I'm so grateful that I got to experience those 3 trips. I learned things that I don't think I've ever thought of. At franchise cricket or an amateur cricket, or that anyone's ever told me. First trip very nervous, but came out my shell as the trips went on. I think you have,
hopefully
more
to come.
Yeah, exactly. I'm holding that. I've just gotta keep scoring runs, and good things will happen.
Indeed.
That is very true.
Obviously, your father's had a big influence on your career, and I've read elsewhere that you said that was the case. Was there anybody else in your career that had a similar influence on your career, either as a coach or player, or somebody else within your career that's been influential?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned my dad. I think I was very fortunate that he had played, back in the day, I don't think it was as professional as it is now, rugby for Natal. So he made mistakes, and he tried to teach me not to make the same mistakes. And just try to instill the discipline that you needed to make it in a career in sport, or career off the field, wherever it may be. And then I was very fortunate enough to, throughout the times in my life, or phases in my career, I had different people, that were very influential. But I mean, to this day, I still, I think I owe Grant Morgan and Shane Berger a hell of a lot. They were very influential, such good people that kind of just understood what made me tick, and how they could get the best out of me. A lot of people are just aggressive, you got to do this, do that. But it was more a case of, okay, well, we're going to sit down, how do you want to go about things? And we feel like, if you try this, it could work. If it doesn't, let's try something else. They were they communicated a lot, and they gave me opportunities where, coaches in the past never gave me opportunities. I mean, Morgs was the first one to say, listen, I think you can open the batting. I think your technique's good enough, and you've got all the shots in the book. So there's an opportunity. You might as well give it a go. And I agreed to do it, and it paid off nicely. And he spent a lot of time proving my technique against a brand new red ball, which is tough. Him and Shane also very influential. And I try to stay in touch with him as much as I can. It's obviously not as much as I'd like to, but they've obviously got really love as well. Morgs in PE, Shane in Scotland. So they were very influential. And then I've obviously had people, like I said, different stages in my career that I played with. Like Imi was very good. Iman van Vliet, as opening batters, they came and actually played for Inland, and they were, because I decided, okay, we're going to open the batting. They kind of taught me how to be an opening batter and how to think as an opening batter. So I owe them a lot too. And then obviously Morne van Beek, his older brother, who I still go and see now. He's at St. Charles College. I go and see now, and we talk cricket, and he helps me with one or two things, because he's involved with a bit of power hitting, teaching guys how to power hit. 2020 cricket is becoming massive now. So often I'll pop down there and just see if he can help me clear the ropes. So just a little bit further than I can at the moment.
And do you give some tips to the first team there while you're there?
I've actually, every time I go there, Master in Charge of Sports, Rowan Irons, and he gets me down to their nets or gets them to come and have a look how I'm training in their indoor center, and then you just chat to guys. The one guy that I really got along with very well from the first team at St. Charles is actually Wesley. I can't remember. I can't pronounce his surname correctly.
Calentiano.
But he's the all-rounder that plays for Zimbabwe.
Oh. I think it's Wesley Madavere.
Madavere, yes.
Yes.
And he was such a kind guy. Every time I came and saw the guys at St. Charles, yes, sir, thank you. So I'm like, I'm not sir, I'm not much older than you guys, please. But he was always one that was asking questions and wanted to learn and get better. So it's nice to see him doing very nicely on the international circuit.
Yeah, no, that is very true. I think he's one of the bright lights in Zimbabwe, which is quite exciting.
Yeah.
Speaking about the new season, you mentioned that obviously Imran Khan's got new players to deal with. I'm trying to sort out my I think the cracking's on my end. But how's the team shaping up for this new season?
Yeah, listen, we've done a lot of work. The new guys, I think, have got a bit of a shock to the system. Actually, how hard us Durban guys work, because people think of us Durban guys as so laid back, and we're at the beach, and we're only 5 minutes away from the ground, and we just chill. But our strength and conditioning coach, he's shocked their systems quite nicely. So the guys have fitted in nicely, and the guys have been training really, really hard. Obviously, we had those 2 weeks of the looting that disrupted our preparation for our pre-season, but the guys have been putting extra yards in. I mean, if I talk about this week, we've been given a week off, and I've gone in to do some rehab work in that, and the guys are in there gymming, guys are doing their fitness, the bowlers are in the net bowling a couple of overs, and they don't need to be there on their off weeks. So it's really good to see that the work rate is there from the new guys, and like I said, they're putting in beautifully. So it's exciting. It's very exciting times for cricket in South Africa in terms of its new structure and players that have moved around. So to have these guys fitting in beautifully at the moment, it's exciting for us as the Dolphins. We need to get them on the field, and let's produce some results.
That's what captains say. Let's get them onto the field.
Indeed, yeah. I'm a big fan of Jason Smith, and I'm actually delighted that he's made the move up to you guys. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Imi can do with him. I'm just hoping that he's going to focus on his batting. But just moving forward, do you have any particular goals in line for the season? For the Dolphins, have you got a goal in mind that you want to achieve? Any milestones around the corner that you want to hit?
Me personally, or the Dolphins?
Yes, or no, you personally. Have you got? What are your goals for the season?
Personally, I just want to be as consistent as possible. I just had a one-on-one meeting with Imran this week, and that's one of the things we want to have, like a real breakout season. Like I've been consistently doing just nicely, I've been helping the team nicely, but we want to really okay, sure, this guy's actually doing double what everyone else is doing. Well, okay, I'll say double, but not really. But he's just doing it's been like an outstanding season. A lot of people say, okay, he's got 200s or 300s, he's had an outstanding season. I think we want to up the ante a bit by being a bit more consistent in how many runs we're going to score or how many milestones we're going to reach. I think just keep being consistent as possible in white ball format. I think I've been very consistent in white ball cricket, but red ball cricket has kind of been a little bit of a roller coaster ride. And I think all the things that I've been working on and the things that I've learned over the last 18 months, I think that at some stage that, and I trust that it will come good. So, I'm hoping and trusting that it's, and optimistic actually, that it will be this season. I'm in a good headspace. Technically worked on a few things, and things are working well. So, like I said, just very consistent in all formats, very consistent in the runs that I'm producing, and just keep producing results for the team, or runs for the team, so that we can keep winning trophies. I think people are going to, or the teams are going to come for us this season. So we're going to have to be, we're going to have to be right on the button from ball one.
Well, yeah.
To know where you are going, you have to know where you come from.
And a very good early morning to all of you out there who, despite the hour, have got up for this historic occasion in South African sport.
As South Africa and India mark 30 years of friendship, we look to the next 30 years with even greater anticipation.
We have millions watching this telecast right now.
50th Test match 100 for the great man.
If you don't have the belief that you can win the series here, there's no point coming here.
1-1.
That's him. The finger will go up.
And have a look at the celebrations.
Everyone, I'm sure, is pumped up about this clash.
Watch the Freedom Series from 26 December.
Post.
Sorry about that. We're having some gremlins here. We've missed about 8 balls as the internet was giving us a little bit of trouble here. And so what you have missed is South Africa scoring 7 for 6 runs in the first over from Ravi Ashwin. Now we've got Umesh Yadav bowling to Temba Bavuma, just bowled third ball of his over, and it's defended out to the leg side. No runs. South Africa need 35. Score 177 for 3 with Bavuma on 12. Rassie van der Dussen on 28. Remember, you can tweet us at OneWorldSR. You can also send through comments on YouTube. Umesh Yadav into Temba Bavuma. Good full length on off stump, defended out to the offside for no run.
In that last over, we saw Rassie van der Dussen absolutely smoke a ball behind square on the leg side with a very lovely sweep. An over pitch delivery from Ravi Ashwin that was just dispatched to the leg side boundary, just behind square. He's sitting on 12. No, Temba Bavuma on 12, and he's sitting on 28. And Umesh Yadav really needs to get a wicket here for India. He really owes them a wicket.
Yes, Umesh Yadav does. Yadav comes into Temba Bavuma. It's a lot straighter on middle stump. Temba drive, playing that out to the leg side. The fielder at mid-wicket made a valiant effort to stop the ball, but on the parry, the South Africans take a single. That's what you want to see. Score goes up to the runs to win goes down to 34. The total 178 for 3. Bavuma now on 13.
That's vital that Umesh Yadav just keeps on that off-stump line, conceding no runs, not giving away any free runs there. That one just erring a little bit to the leg side and not putting Temba Bavuma under any pressure whatsoever. And they desperately need to make something of this. Don't want to be rolled over here in this session. But South Africa in cruise control. Ample wickets in hand, ample time in hand, and ample resources necessary to get the job done.
South Africa in a commanding position. India just need a few wickets to get themselves in. A master spell is what they need. But Umesh Yadav bowling one on a good length, going down to leg stump. Rassie playing that off his pads, off his hips, down to square leg for a single. Score goes up to 179 for 3. The runs to win keep on edging closer to South Africa. It will be a historic series win, Tempo, for this team that has gone through so much since 2019.
So much turmoil. That 2019 series after the World Cup in India was dismal. South African players probably went home crying. A 3-0 whitewash in India. I remember Aiden Markham even injured his hand, the way he was so frustrated with himself not getting any runs here. But the Armchair Cricket Podcast says this India team may be on the way to a loss in an away test series, but they can be proud of the way they competed on bouncy wickets. A couple of key moments to be careful about, a decision or two that came in their favor, and this series was theirs.
Ashwin resuming from the Weinberg end. You've got leg slip, short leg as the close-in field as he comes over the wicket. Rassie van der Dussen with the angle. This one is bounces on off stump. Rassie playing that out to the vacant offside in the covers for a quick single. This is the positive mentality and the positive thinking that I wanted from Rassie to do before lunch, because it felt like they were getting in a bit of a rut. 180 for 3, runs to win 32. Ashwin coming over the wicket to Temba Bavuma. Temba plays this one straight past the fielder at a catching mid-on, silly mid-on, or slightly wideish, and gets it down for a single. Score now 181. Temba's now on 14.
Every single being clapped by the crowd here. They can feel the anticipation getting closer and closer to a very important series win here for South Africa.
Ravi Ashwin coming around the wicket to Rassie van der Dussen, and he pads up to this one, playing it past the fielder at short leg in the air, and it goes out to mid-wicket for a single. Very good batting from Rassie van der Dussen.
I love to see the rotation of strike here that we've seen here in the first 3 balls. Every single a dagger in the Indian hearts.
Ashwin into Temba Bavuma, places one down to mid-wicket. It was a lot straighter and fuller and was easy to be played on the leg side. It's a predominantly strong leg side field. It's a 6-3 field to the leg side for Ashwin. And another single has been taken. Now the runs to win are under 30. It's now 29.
ticking away at the scoreboard here. 4 runs and 4 balls for these two, a partnership of 28.
Ashwin over the wicket to Rassie van der Dussen, closing that angle, darting that one in onto the pads. All Rassie could do is defend that out to the offside for no run. Arvind S says, even if the great George Lohman bowls every over now, this match can't be won by India. Ashwin into Rassie van der Dussen. Down the leg side, he plays it straight to the man at mid-wicket. Great fielding from Kohli.
Virat Kohli, yes.
And it is the end of that over. 183 for 3 overs gone since lunch. South Africa have now put on 12 runs since lunch, and they've gotten the target down to 29. Temba on 15, Van der Dussen on 31, scores 183 for 3.
Just looking back at this series, starting with that loss in Centurion for the South Africans, when KL Rahul got that fantastic score of 123. That was essentially where they had lost the game in the first innings when you've been saying it, Umpo, the first session, they haven't been too good.
Yadav coming in from the Calvin Grove end to Temba Bavuma, 2 slips and a gully. And this one's full on off stump. Temba defending that on the front foot back to the field at extra cover for no run. So you've got extra cover. You've got mid off, mid on, mid wicket, and as well as fine leg. There's no fielder on the boundary on the offside. It's just the backward point sitting in the regulation spot where you would normally have him in a normal test match field to a right arm bowler, right arm quick bowler. Umesh Yadav over the wicket to Temba Bavuma, lot straighter on off stump. Temba defending that back to mid off. No run there.
But ever since the Wanderers test, South Africa really showed their mettle, showed their mantle, really looking, well, not necessarily solid, but very nuggety, they were fighting to win that test match in the Wanderers. There was a session, I believe it was on the 3rd day at the end of the day, when Rassie van der Dussen and Dean Alva had a valuable partnership.
Yadav into Temba Bavuma, it's short, it's wide, and it's punched through the point region for 4 runs. I'm a fan of Temba's back foot punch, and he just keeps on bringing it out, going deep into his bag. 4 more runs to South Africa, 24 needed to win.
As soon as you err on that line outside the off stump and give him just a little bit of width, Temba Bavuma with that compact style, just punching that off the back foot. He's been driving through the offside absolutely fantastically, finding the middle of the bat here. This is a batter on form, without a doubt. He's looking stellar at the moment for his 19.
Really awesome. You mesh out after Temba Bavuma. This one's a lot straighter on that 5th stump line. Good length. Temba getting an inside edge out to the leg side on the bounce for no run. 188 for 3. Bavuma's on 19 after that for Van der Dussen on 31.
You'd feel that as soon as the South Africans put the pressure on India here in South Africa, they seem to sort of buckle under the pressure. We saw at the end of the Wanderers test how they hung their heads when the ball was getting wet, always going to the umpire, and not really looking focused, and not really looking as sharp as they really should.
Umesh into Temba Bavuma, short ball this time, and Temba just defending that on his toes on the back foot, out back to the bowler, no run.
Not sure about you, Umpo, but I got the feeling that India sort of came here thinking that this would be an easy test for them to win, an easy test series for them to win. And as soon as it really got difficult, they weren't able to dig in and truly apply themselves. But I'm happy to stand corrected.
How many times have we seen subcontinental teams come to South Africa thinking that their batters could carry them through, and they play the same way they play in India as the next ball is defended out to the offside, no run, and they get edges, they lose early wickets. It's the first time, I think, that 20 wickets in a match have all been caught. And that's a testament to the loose nature of India's batting lineup, similar to Srinivas on YouTube saying India's batting was very poor. Lysander van der Vesthuizen says India's sad story, surely missing the little master. If only they would love to have such a fielding, great back foot punch from Temba Bavuma on a short and wide ball from Yadav out. It was stopped by the fielder at backward point was surely 4 runs, but the South Africans running through for 2, and it's 190 for 3. Bavuma's on 21. The target now is 22.
Fantastic fielding from the bowler Jasprit Bumrah, diving to his right from a backward point region. That was a certain boundary once again. Temba Bavuma off the back foot, slicing it on the offside. And he saved a certain boundary, did Jasprit Bumrah. That's good to see. We want to see more of that in the field. Good energy. They still believe that they're in this, and they're not just throwing in the towel just yet.
I'm loving the positive intent from the South Africans. They've come out after lunch and they've imposed themselves on India. Edith Terhar says, yes, Tsepo, I agree with you.
Probably
Now, Ravi Ashwin from the Weinberg end, leg slip. Also that short leg. It's a lot straighter down the leg side. The line's down the leg side, a lot fuller in the block hole. And Rassie just defends it out to the leg side, no run. Ashwin coming right arm over.
I was just walking to his, not the mark, but to the crease. Looks like there may have been something that he slipped on. Oh, no, it's a no ball call here from Adrian Holdstock.
Yes, remember, no balls are called from the third umpire. So 1 run added to the South African score. Ravi Ashwin into Rassie van der Dissen's ball on a full length, going down the leg side with the arm. Great take from Rishabh Pant. 21 needed, 191 for 3. Ashwin into Van der Dissen down the leg side, and Van der Dissen played that straight into the palms of that fielder at short leg. Mank Agarwala was too quick and it went out. It's one of those that have to go in and out or stay in, and this one went in and out. So a chance dropped by India. Another one, second one of the day.
Yeah, India really need to take these types of chances.
Van der Dissen, Ashwin into Van der Dissen outside the off stump. Rassie just plays that out to the vacant offside for a single. He would want to get off strike after that chance going down.
These are the types of chances that India really needed to take. There was a sitter that Pujara missed in the slips, and if you don't take those opportunities, it's almost impossible to get a win from here or to get any sort of positive results. You need to take those wickets.
Ashwin was looking to come in, but the fielders were walking and they disturbed Temba, so we have to go back. And Ashwin now bowls in again to Temba Bavuma. It's on the leg stump. Temba just plays that out to the fielder at mid-wicket for no run.
Temba Bavuma not playing when he's not comfortable, constantly pulling out. Not constantly.
Ashwin into Bavuma. More middle stump line, a lot fuller. Temba just coming to the pitch of the ball and smothering it with a forward defense.
To correct myself, not constantly, but he has been doing it throughout the series.
Ashwin into Bavuma. So it's down the leg side. Temba coming through that with a lot of power. Down, playing that past the fielder at silly mid-on. Virat Kohli couldn't hold on to that, and the misfield enables the single for the South Africans. The runs to win are now under 20, it's now 19. 193 for 3. Bavuma on 22. Van der Dissen on 32.
What I love to see here from the South African scorecard, no score in the single digits. Even Aiden Markram, who departed disappointingly for his 16. He's the lowest scorer here. Algar contributing 30. Peterson 82. Rassie van der Dissen 32. And Temba Bavuma 22 today. And that's indicative of how to win tests here. Also, we saw the Wanderers in the last innings, the partnerships that were building throughout the entire innings took South Africa over the line.
Yes, Tsepo, that is a good point. As Umesh Yadav resumes from the Calvin Grove end outside the off-stump, Temba defending that on the front foot for no run. You do want to see that, and it's a good start, and it's something that a reference point for this team to be able to build big innings. This team has struggled to score above 200 for the past 2 to 3 years. We've only had one score or 2 scores above 300 in Test match cricket, and you should be losing Test matches if you're scoring around or under even under 300 essentially. As Umesh Yadav coming in to Temba Bavuma, it's a lot straighter. Temba drives that; it was a lot fuller as well. Drives that through the leg side for no run, was picked up at mid-on by R. Ashwin.
Temba Bavuma middles the ball with such class. His punches have been looking so good, so stellar, so clean. And just going on with the partnership conversation in this innings, first partnership 23, Algar Peterson 78, Rassie van der Dussen, Peterson 54, and van der Dussen and Temba Bavuma 38 now, and that is how you build a big innings.
Yes, the key thread there was Keegan Peterson as Temba Bavuma looking to drive through the offside, gets a healthy inside edge to a full ball from Umesh Yadav, and the South Africans will run for 2 down the leg side. Score goes up to 195 for 3. The runs to win are now to 17 with Bavuma on 24. The thread in that is Keegan Peterson, number 3. He just is the glue that glues the innings together. Aidan Markram still struggling at the top. He's come in with 23 runs fallen, managed to get through yesterday with Dean Alga, get through large parts of the morning with Rassie van der Dussen, and now Temba and Rassie have to take South Africa home as the next ball is a back of a good length, and Temba just playing that outside the off stump out to the fielder at mid-off for no run. Khalid Khan on YouTube says South Africa win, and he sends a lot of South African flags with a lot of very lovely emojis. Arvind S says, congratulations, South Africa, on a memorable series win. This will be the start of another South Africa era of dominance in Test cricket.
Dominance?
Yadav into Temba Bavuma. Outside the off stump, Temba punches that on the front foot to the fielder at extra cover on the bounce, no run. South Africa still needs 17 to win.
I'm not sure I'm already with the dominance era just yet. As we know, this is India still are yet to win a series here in South Africa. So when they come here, South Africa generally win or draw. They don't lose. So yes, they are the number 1 test side, but we'd like to see against different oppositions. We'd like to see South Africa touring well.
Yadav into Temba Bavuma. This one, a good length, rising up a little bit. Temba playing that on the up. But for him, it just bounced in front of Umesh Yadav. He played that really straight. And at the end of that over, no run from that last ball. 195 for 3. South Africa needs 17. This partnership is worth 40. Bavuma on 24. Van der Dussen on 32.
We need to start seeing South Africa touring well before we start talking about a dominance era. What is great to see is that we have a South African team that fights. We have a South African team that won't go down and roll over just yet. That was very much what happened in 2019 in India. So it's good to see that we're starting to gain momentum at the moment. People are starting to put their hands up. Dean Algar, Keegan Peterson, Temba Bavuma as well might not be getting centuries, but constantly gets valuable runs for the team.
Really good. That's a really great point there, Tempo. Ashwin into Rassie van der Dussen. This is a short ball outside the off stump. Rassie plays it off the back foot and he punches it out to the fielder at mid-off for a single. The thing about this win is that it's a great win. You say you want to see against better opposition. This is the world number 1 team, Tempo. As Temba sweeps the next ball that was going down the leg side to the square leg boundary for 4. Really great shot as Ashwin bowls him over pitch ball. Temba capitalizing on that. 200 runs are up for South Africa. And the target now goes to 12 with that 4 runs. It's 200 for 3. Bavuma into Ashwin into Bavuma. This ball's outside the off stump. Temba looking to play it, and he just lets it go through to Rishabh Pant for no run. Daniel Keeley says SA look good. Lots of young players really stood up and took the lead. Not sure about dominance, but I'd love to see a team that scraps. Like Tsepo says, it's a lot straighter ball and fuller from Ashwin. Temba defends that back out to the leg side. No run.
What also looks great is the fact that South Africa are sweeping to spinners. Yes, the conditions aren't quite for the spinners.
Temba defending that out to the leg side. No run. It is 200 for 3. Bavuma is on 29. Temba plays that out back to the bowler. No run. Bavuma's on 28. I beg your pardon. And Van der Dussen on 32. The scorers are still trying to sort themselves out here at the boundary. Bavuma on 28. Van der Dussen on 33. End of that over. It's 200 for 3.
South South Africans looking very confident here towards the end of the innings, getting very aggressive, sweeping to the spinners. But talking about what you mentioned about this being the number one side, they haven't really toured well in South Africa, as I was saying. And we need to see how we fare in India, for example. We fare in England against a moving ball. I know that's
too much of the side tip.
You see, that's before we start talking about dominance. That's what we need to see.
Yes, and we're playing at home. It's just surprising that India came out and batted this poorly. I thought they actually bowled better than South Africa in patches, but South Africa showing that they are still up there as one of the better bowling sides in the world. Umesh Yadav bowling to Rassie van der Dussen for the first time since lunch. Bowls a Yorker length ball to Rassie, who defends it out to the leg side, no run. 200 for 3, Bavuma 28, Van der Dussen 33, 12 needed to win. G says, so now the result is guaranteed. Are you guys covering the ODIs too? Yes, G, we will be covering the ODIs, the 2 ODIs in Paul, as well as the last ODI here at Newlands. Will be live on 1WSR.com, so please share with your friends to let everybody know that we'll be doing that. As Umesh Yadav coming in from the Calvin Grove end, 2 slips Senegali, Rassie van der Dussen down the leg side. Rassie was looking for a run there as he came down the wicket, halfway down, but Mayank Agarwal, the fielder at mid-wicket, was on hand to make sure that if Rassie thought of taking the run, he had 3 stumps to aim at. No run, 200 for 3. And then Eric Tahar asked, would you make any changes, Tempo, going into the New Zealand series?
Yep, Aiden Markham for Sadal Advia. Not because I'll actually reserve my opinion.
Yadav into Rassie van der Dussen, that's full and straight, and Rassie defending that out to mid on no run.
Actually, yes, I would change Aiden Markham for Sadal Advia. I feel that he's been given enough of a chance to really start to assert himself in the side and really start try to find his place here within this series and series before. But just the way he doesn't value his wicket enough at the top of the order, doesn't protect the number 3 batsman. Keegan Peterson constantly having to come in at very tricky spells.
Yadav into Rassie, this one is short and wide outside the off-stump. Rassie does not get tempted enough to play at that. Goes to Rishabh Pant, no run.
And if we continue to try and see what Aiden Markham can produce, if we just give him more time, then what does that say to the rest of the South Africans that want to play for the green and gold? You know, it doesn't make it look very good, or it makes it look impossible to get into the side. It makes it look like there are favorites here, people given more of a chance than others, and I don't think that's fair. Other people do deserve an opportunity when the people in the team aren't performing.
Yadav into Rassie van der Dussen. This one's on off stump. Rassie punches that out past the field, that extra cover. There's a chase between Pujara and the ball. Pujara wins it at the extra cover boundary, but the South Africans have come through for 3. That brings the runs to win to the single digits. It's now 9 with South Africa on 203 for 3 on the cusp of a really impressive series win against the best test side in the world.
Also, don't forget, Heinrich Nortje hasn't been in the series either, so that could be very, very exciting to see in New Zealand.
The questions that will still remain is whether Keshav Maharaj will be playing in those tests in New Zealand with the tracks that New Zealand bring through, but that's for another time. Umesh Yadav into Temba Bavuma, full on off stump. Temba defends that out to the offside. No run.
Yeah, really hoping that Sadal Advia gets this opportunity to just get a chance, get a chance to see what happens. We have a few tweets here. The church saying, when is it time to start warming up the vocal cords for a big rendition of Shosholoza from the balcony? I think now with only 9 to win,
we need to let go of Shosholoza as a country. There are many other songs that we could go into. But anyway, for this one, I'll allow.
People just want to vibe, mate. That's all they know. They don't know
Guichos. Where's the Guichos squad? Learn Guichos to be a lot more comfortable. I think South Africa's gotten very comfortable with Shosholoza. It's been 30 years, guys. There's many other songs that have come through, many other ways we can celebrate the ethnicity that our lovely country has to offer. Rassie van der Dussen facing up to R. Ashwin, who's coming in from the Weinberg end. So a lot straighter on middle stump, defending that back to the bowler, no run. Daniel Keeley says,
we need to see a lot more test cricket. Generally, a lot of countries need to play more tests to make the test championship more fair. Ashwin into Rassie van der Dussen. It's outside the off-stump. Rassie just playing that with soft hands out to the offside. It's picked up by the fielder at square leg. And there's an overthrow that goes for 4 runs from trying to get who that fielder is, because that was a really ill-disciplined piece of fielding. Umesh Yadav on the offside, and 4 runs ensue.
Oh, absolutely unnecessary. Shying at the stumps there. Rassie van der Dussen was safe, but didn't get any balance when he threw, and he threw with a lot of power. Wayward throw that just ran all the way to the boundary.
Yes, extras in total, so that's 5 runs off of that. And that brings up the 50-run partnership between Temba Bavuma and Rassie van der Dussen. Temba's contributed 28, Rassie's contributed 23, 2 extras. And the partnership is with 53. The score is 208. South Africa are 4 away.
Can we sing Sister Bettina instead of Shosho Rosa? Is that
we also need to move away from that song, but they call it the national anthem as Temba slug sweeps the ball to the square leg boundary for 4 to help South Africa win their first test series against a world number 1 ranked team at home in a very, very long time. It's been 10 years since South Africa won an important series against a side ranked higher than them. Dean Elgar said it was a 15-year wait, a 10 to 12-year wait for a test match like this, the most important test match in the last 10 years, and they have come through with flying colors. We thought this could be a letdown spot from a team that was an underdog entirely in this series, but South Africa have pulled away from being 1-0 down at Centurion and winning 2 on the bounce at the Wanderers and at Newlands. South Africa are going to be smiling their way. This could be the bounce. This could be the start of something great. Really great series for Mark Boucher and his men, Dean Elgar as well and his men, but a really important series for some of the newbies in the side like Keegan Peterson, who I think is man of the series. South Africa win this match by 7 runs. They finish on 212 for 3. Tempo, can you just encapsulate this moment for us?
Special, Umpo. Special is the word. Goosebumps all round. And what a way to end it. What an individual to also put down the final blow here for South Africa. Temba Bavuma, someone that's been put under so much pressure, hitting a 4 to win the series. What a special moment here. Pressure released for the South African team. They showed that they still have the quality. They can still compete against the best in the world, and they retain the record. India still have not won a series here in South Africa, and they still will not do it for a few more years.
Looking at Virat Kohli and his men, they will feel really let down, by themselves, largely because they came here with a much stronger side, an inexperienced South African side, gaining experience as the match goes on. They haven't played a lot of test matches like India, but they were the better cricketing side all the way through. Dean Elgar hugging Temba Bavuma and Rassie van der Dussen on the boundary. It's been an incredible series for us here at One World Sports Radio. It was our first series as the official ball-by-ball radio broadcaster for CSA, and we have enjoyed it thoroughly. We'd like to thank everybody for giving us this opportunity to go into the match summary. Remember, 4 days ago, India won the toss and put South Africa into bat. India were bowled out for 223 in the first innings. South Africa coming through, they ended up with a deficit of 13, being bowled out for 210. Then yesterday, India were bowled out for 198, leaving South Africa with a target of 211 to win. That South African scorecard reads as follows. Aiden Markham was the first man to go on 23. He was out, caught at slip for 16 by Rahul bowled Mohammad Shami. Dean Elgar then survived for the entire late session last night, only to fall on the last ball. He was caught down the leg side by Rishabh Pant, bowled by Jasprit Bumrah for 30 off 96. Keegan Peterson was the next man out today. after carrying South Africa through a very tough period. For when he came in when the runs were 23, he was out at 155 for 3. He was bowled Shardul Thakur for 82, chopping one on to his stumps. Then the final two, Rassie van der Dussen with 41 not out, Temba Bavuma with 32 not out, leading South Africa to a historic win for a team that's gone through so much turmoil. South African cricket hasn't been in the best place over the past 2 years, but this team giving the nation a ray of hope, something to cheer for, something to fall in love. And that is why we call it sport, because sometimes the underdogs do come through. And at the start of the series, South Africa were the underdogs. They finish as series victors. Thank you to everybody who's listened to us on Twitter and on Facebook, as well as on 1WSR.com. We'll be back for the ODI series in the week. We're going to start on Wednesday, then the next ODI will be on Friday, and then the final ODI will be on Sunday. South Africa are Test Series victors. You can listen to us at 1WSR.com. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. And as we get some of the fans giving us a couple of fist bumps here at the stadium who watched this game. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great afternoon. Remember, we'll be recording the full Quota podcast with myself and Tim, and I'm sure with Tempo here in a couple of minutes after the day's play. So please do look out for that. It's going to be a really interesting podcast because at the start of the series, we thought India would win 2-1. South Africa have won 2-1. There's a lot of things that India need to sort out, but South Africa going in with a lot of smiles going into the New Zealand series as one of the creatures that I think we should be singing rings out here at Newlands. It says, it's Masam bin Nono, because we've won. And thank you very much, everybody. Goodbye. Good day. Enjoy the rest of your day. From myself here at One World Sports Radio, Le Sale Dakajas.
To know where you are going, you have to know where you come from.
And a very good early morning to all of you out there who, despite the hour, have got up for this historic occasion in South African sport.
As South Africa and India mark 30 years